Tonight, the Stars come out in the 30th annual Philadelphia City All-Star Football Game next on CN8. From Charlie Martin Stadium in Northeast Philadelphia, CN8 Sports presents the Philadelphia Daily News City All-Star Game. The top seniors in Philadelphia meet as the public school stars take on their friends from the non-public schools. And here's a look at the starting quarterbacks tonight. Getting the 9 for the public squad is Marcel Quarterman, and also Andre Sloan L will be under center for the Stars on the non-public side. Hi everyone, I'm Mick Moninghoff. My pleasure once again to be joined by Rob Brooks. Glad you could join us on CN8. And Rob, a chance for these seniors out here to get a little more hitting in before the school year comes to a close.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement out here, a lot of energy. These boys are definitely amped to hit somebody. It's been a lot of months since they got some contact, so they're really anticipating a hit this evening.
A lot of all-stars on the field tonight. Everyone's an all-star, but let's keep an eye on a couple. First off, for the non-public stars, on offense, you only have to look at Curtis Brinkley, the city's all-time rushing leader, over 7,400 yards from West Catholic.
He had to pass some pretty impressive names to get to the top of that list. Blair Thomas, Kevin Jones, and Eddie Gaskins. He can do it with power, and right there you see him doing it with his speed. He's going to be going to Syracuse next year.
See his numbers, and you'll see 7,400 yards, 216 yards per game, and the Co-Catholic League Player of the Year on his way to Syracuse.
And he also has 2 of the all-time best rushing games in the city of Philadelphia.
On the defensive side, you have the other Co-Catholic League Player of the Year in Brian Tracy from St. Joe's Prep. Next year, he'll be playing in the Big Ten at Indiana.
Brian's late father was the Catholic League Southern Player of the Year back in '73. Brian has done more than uphold the family name.
Now, when you turn things around and look at the public league stars, they got a pretty good running back, too, on Arnold Mullins. He led Frankfurt to back-to-back championships in the public league.
Arnold Mullins is a guy in the beginning of the year. They didn't even know if he was going to play at running back. They knew he was going to be a defensive back. He was first team All-City as a defensive back, but he had over 700 yards on the ground. Here you see him, just a real quick, easy to get away from people guy.
And as you take a look at his numbers, what kind of jumps off the page at you, Rob Brooks?
Well, the 764 yards for a guy who they didn't even think was going to carry the ball before the season, I think that's the most impressive number right there.
On the defensive side, the stalwart has to be Otis Young from Lincoln. He'll be playing next season at University of New Hampshire.
Now, he was first team All-City on offensive line, but today he's going to play defense. He can bring it on defense. His father played in the game here in '86 and got a W, so the heat is on Otis today to bring back a W.
Should be a lot of fun. The non-public stars taking on the players from the public league, and we'll come back with starting lineups and more in just a moment. All-Star time in Philadelphia tonight on CN8. Charles Martin Stadium here in Northeast Philadelphia, the campus of Northeast High. Glad you could join us for the City All-Star Football Game. Gil Brooks is the head coach. 4th time he is on the sidelines for the non-public stars in the head coach position. And from Dobbins High School, the public league head coach is Doug McCauley. Both coaches rely heavily on their staffs tonight. You take a look at the series history, and you'll see that the non-public stars, a very slim margin of victory, 15 wins, 13 losses, and 1 tie, and this is the 30th meeting, Rob.
And I heard a lot of woofing before the game, and many people believe that this is the non-public year once again. But heard some stern defense of that.
Rich McMillan kicks off, and this will be taken on a few bounces by Brinkley. Now he just goes down, and Brinkley will cover up. Just across the 10 at about the 12-yard line. So the non-public stars have it 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line as Curtis Brinkley had to go to one knee and kind of cover up.
Not the start that Curtis Brinkley wanted. Of course, the all-everything running back here in Philadelphia wants to put on a good show here one last time before he heads off to the cold wilderness of Syracuse.
So the non-public stars will have the football, and Andre Sloanell will start off at quarterback tonight. Good look at Andre, 6'2", 185-pounder, all-Catholic in football and basketball. He's on his way to the University of Minnesota. Over 3,700 yards passing, and the tight end comes in and finally gets set. So 1st and 10 at about the 12-yard line, and play action fake. Quick pass and complete to Dominic Rock to start the ball game. Take a look at the starting lineup for the non-public Stars after the completion to Rock. Brinkley in the backfield along with Dave Fitzgerald. Ferriolo starts as a wideout with Carl Peterson and Matt Parkhurst. Also Mike Robinson, Mike Biscaglia, Pat Regan, Jim Alberts, and Mike Dolan start up front on the non-public side. So on 2nd down and 7, man in motion to the far side is Gutierrez. The handoff here goes to Brinkley. Sidesteps 1, gets up to the 15-yard line. Gain of just a few for Brinkley. Let's give you a look at the starting defense now for the non-public Stars. Isaiah Thompson, Michael Roberts, Dane Coombs, Ray Williams, and Otis Young up front. The linebackers tonight, Greg Myers and Warren Bartlett. Bartlett might be the heaviest hitter on that team. And Danny Smith, Marcus Banks, Sammons, and Fincher round out the secondary. So 3rd down play coming up here, 3rd and 5. With the football at the 16-yard line. Andre Slonell has his back split, shows pass all the way, goes across the middle, complete. Parkhurst makes the catch, and that'll be good enough for a non-public first down.
Parkhurst, the big tight end at 6'4", 243 pounds, a perfect target, that kind of situation. Take another look at it. You see the Slonell, the lefty, just takes his 5 steps and hits Parkhurst real easy. See him, he's looking off to the left now. Once he sets his feet, he follows him right across the field, hits Parkhurst on the numbers, and it's an easy first down for the non-pubs.
Good pitch and catch on the 3rd down play. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. And this is Brinkley, goes on a little counter step off tackle. He'll be just about 2 yards shy of a first down.
We talked about Brinkley during the beginning, how he can use power and speed. And right there you saw him with a quick little counter step. He's taking it just between the guards on the left, steps to the other side of the center. And that's where he picks up his yard, 8 yards on that one.
Brinkley had 399 yards in a game last season. Here man goes in motion. That is Gutierrez. Hand off to the fullback, and rumbling here is David Fitzgerald. It's going nowhere. Good pursuit that time right down the line as Fitzgerald never got started. Kind of getting in first was the linebacker, Greg Myers out of Dobbins.
And Myers only 5'11", 195, really sort of held on but dear light there as Fitzgerald is 5'11" and 270 pounds. There's no way any one person on the field today is going to bring him down. You saw a lot of green shirts coming in there for the assist.
Didn't get the first down with a 3rd and about 1. The football just about at the 35-yard line. So 3rd and 1 from the 35 here. See what Slonell runs. He threw to the tight end on a 3rd and short last time. As the ends in tight here, backs in an eye tandem. Going to keep it himself, and the quarterback leans forward, and Andre Slonell has the quarterback sneak for a first down.
You know, with 3rd and a yard, when you have a quarterback who's 6'2", that's probably the best way to go. Just sort of let him get in behind that surge by the line and lean over into a gap and pick up the first down. His body is more than long enough. There you go. Just watch the surge by this front line. They get a yard. That's all he needs. He's just crawling in there behind him. You know, he needed a yard. He got 3 right there.
Good blocking up front by Biscaglia and company for Gil Brooks' team. Non-pubs with their 2nd first down of this drive and started back at the 12. 1st and 10. And off here. Once again, Brinkley churning out yardage, gets about 7 on that carry.
Brinkley picked up 7 on that one, but that's all the line. He just had a great crease right there. Excellent blocking up front, and watch this. He just steps right through there. You know, the crease is moving towards the off-tackle box. He just followed it, just read the blocks and followed it, but a great job by the guys up front first.
You know, Bartlett was in on the tackle for Doug McCauley, and the defense has to tighten up here because we're looking at a 2nd down and 3 yards to go. The football resting just shy of the 45-yard line. So spotted at the 44. Slonell sends a man wide to the near side and a man in motion as well. So 2 wides to the left, play action, and he's looking that way. Slonell loads up, comes to the near sideline, has a man behind the coverage, and it's complete. With the catch, it is George Flack out of Father Judge High School for a major first down.
A lot of foul-to-judge receivers in this game, and Flacco on that one just does a great job of being patient and coming back to the football. Sloanell gets all kinds of time here. You saw the play there. Now he's going to wind up, and it's just the job of Flack waiting for the football to come down to him. Be patient. Georges does that, comes back for the football, and winds up with a great catch. Little screen there. Little screen action by Carl Peterson, sealing off the defensive backs.
1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Straight ahead, trying to duck in behind a block is Curtis Brinkley. And Brinkley penetrates the 20s in the red zone, mark him down at the 17-yard line.
And Sloanell, being the left-handed quarterback, brings a different action in the game. Most defensive guys are used to a quarterback rolling out right. Almost all his rollouts are going to be the left-hand side, and that's just a different look for a lot of these defensive players, one that they almost never see.
Rick Ferriolo just came in with the play. He's a wide out. We'll see where he sets up. Ferriolo will go to the far side as Sloanell has been under center for every play in this series. It started back at his own 12-yard line. 2nd and 7 from the 17. Back to throw on the post pattern down the middle. Caught for a touchdown. Matt Parkhurst out of St. Joe's Prep. First team All-City, first team All-Catholic. He's going to Marshall next year. He has a touchdown in the All-Star game at 6-0 for the non-public Stars.
And that's just a great hookup right there. Matt Parkhurst is shooing equestrian as his mother did and deciding to pony up with football. And he makes his mark here in this All-Star game right here in the first quarter. And that throw by Sloanell is exactly why he is a D1 player. That was beautiful. Between the layers of coverage, he just planted it on Parkhurst's chest.
88 yards and 10 plays to get in the end zone. And Charlie Squitieri is on for the extra point. He's out of Roman Catholic. The placement down, the kick is on the way, and this one is good. So the extra point good, and the non-public Stars off to a 7-0 lead on their first possession of the ball game. Another look at the touchdown pass, Rob.
And let's take a look at this. Here's Sloanell. He looks off to the left, and now he waits, and he fires. And look at this. Between the layers of coverage, just out in front of the defensive back, Parkhurst is beautiful. It's just a beautiful route. There's just no way. You see 3 green shirts surrounding him, and nobody can get to that football. Greg Myers just a step behind the much larger Parkhurst. Good hands, good concentration, and an easy touchdown. More than 5 minutes coming off the clock in that first drive by the non-pubs.
On the sideline, a little refreshment time. The day started around 93 degrees. It's cooled off just a little bit as Parkhurst has the touchdown. 10 plays, 88 yards in 2 minutes and 26 seconds on a 17-yard touchdown pass. So Squitieri has it teed up at the 40-yard line, and he'll kick it away as the public Stars will get their first chance to get a hand on the football as Danny Smith and Arnold Mullins are deep, both setting up inside the 10-yard line. Smith is the closest to you with the dark helmet. Kind of a squib kick, and one of the upbacks is going to take it. Down on one knee on the reception was Kayan Walton out of University City, 6'4", 215. Had a knee down the field, but tell you what, decent field position. Make sure you don't cough it up. Marcel Quarterman will be under center. He'll go to Lafayette in the Patriot League next season.
Play some good quality football over there in the Patriot League, do they? And Lafayette is a team that has been looking to rebound for a couple of years. They sit in the league with Lehigh, who is a power. Maybe he will help them return to the throne.
Well, Marco Glavich finally graduated, so little miscommunication as the quarterback runs right into Dante Bryant on first down, and you can call it a sack, but it's not that great a sack because there's a little miscommunication.
Well, they have to give the tackle to somebody. That's just the way that these things go, and so Paul Bryant III from Doherty is going to get that sack. But that was just a footwork problem between the offensive players there as Bryant and Quarterman bump into each other.
Bryant, Benson, Washington, Simmons, and Brighter are the backs of receivers. Jones, Velasquez, Booker, Macklin, and Hayes are up front. 2nd down and 15 to go. Handoff here goes to Bryant. Stood up, going nowhere. Back to the 26-yard line, and that is all. Good closing speed that time by Mike Gavin. Defensively for the non-pubs, Costello out there with DeMalto, Friday, Fitzgerald, and Bryant. The linebackers are Tracy and Bowen to start. And in the secondary, Kennedy and Bergy, Gavin and Fontaine. Gavin was in on the last tackle. 3rd and 13 coming up here from the 26-yard line. So Bryant runs for a short gain after the opening sack. 3rd and 13 at the 26. Quarterman rolls to his left, stops, sees an opening, and now goes up the middle, slips and falls as he came across the 25 up to about the line of scrimmage at the 26.
We talked about this track, you and I, Mick, while we were walking around on the field, and I thought this was going to be sort of a slow track. The grass is very thick in spots, and then there are a couple of slight patches there where it's real hard. It's easy to see how he can slip. But here, Quarterman's going to get all kinds of pressure. Great coverage downfield. He missed the receiver right there because he was scrambling for his life, and then it was just difficult to keep his feet underneath him as he tried to scramble through all those white shirts.
Well, back deep is Brinkley at the top of your screen, along with Dan Jones, number 8. Rich McFillin is back in punt formation, but our official, Tom McLean, is throwing a flag, and we have a penalty against the Public Stars. McLean out there with Chris Isles, Tim Quigley, Warren Gillis, Joe Kelly, Ernie Gallagher, and David Sharp, the officiating crew tonight.
On the field, on the offense, 4th down.
Let's go, let's go.
Procedure called 12 men on the field. A little early for that one.
Well, after that opening drive, maybe they needed a little help. Here's the punt. Not a bad one by McFillin. Gonna nose over right near midfield. Take a bounce, though, in favor of the non-Public Stars and go out of bounds. Well, let's see where they mark it. Right out at the 45-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the non-Public Stars. And Doug McCauley needs his defense to step up. Gil Brooks has the offense working as they went down the field. Opening drive, 10 plays, 88 yards to make it 7-0.
Dale Curry's going to come in now from Father Judge and run the offense for the non-publics. Gil Brooks changing quarterbacks here on the second drive.
Mike Berge is the lead blocker. And a man in motion, Squitieri. Handoff, though, goes to Dan Jones. And Jones carries all the way up to the, I call it the 39-yard line. Nice opening play by Dan Jones.
And Dan Jones would probably spit on that play a little bit as he averaged 9.2 yards per carry for St. Joe's Prep this year.
Numbers on Curry: 122 completions and 241 attempts, over 1,800 yards. Completes about 50% of his passes, and he had 15 touchdowns this season. 2nd and 4. Back to throw, in and out of the hands of his favorite receiver, teammate Carl Peterson, and it's incomplete.
Peterson had 50 receptions this year for Father Judge, and Curry, the man hooking up with him, obviously. We'll take another look at this, and we watched in pregame, and they just seem to have a connection, Mick. When you watch these two, they were hooking up pregame. Just a short drop right over the middle. That's just a bad play right there by Carl Peterson. The ball hit him in a bad spot right in the hands, and you know, Gil Brooks, the guy, if that happened in practice, he'd have him running for that.
3rd and 4 coming up. Total yards, well, 94 to -5. Just the second possession, though, for the non-Public Stars. And off here goes to Jones, and the St. Joe's Prep back is into the secondary, and he'll rumble for the first down and more across the 30, down to the 27-yard line where it's 1st and 10.
Jones going to be a nice pickup for UD next year, coming off a national championship, and they're getting talent like that. Obviously, Casey Keeler wants to stay on top for a little while. Just a nice little stutter step there, break it to the other side. Hey, if the hole is closed to the right where the play is designed, stutter step, break off to the weak side, and go for it.
And he only ran for 1,181 yards and 16 touchdowns. Only. Man in motion here on 1st and 10, play action. No, they hand off to the up back. The fullback had it. And keep everybody honest, and I think that was David Fitzgerald. Oh, no, Mike Berge, I'll beg your pardon. Out of Father Judge, on his way to East Stroudsburg next year.
Yeah, we'd say that, you know, he had only 1,000 yards. They had another 1,000-yard rusher in their backfield. I forgot to ask him. I saw a newspaper story where his lineman demanded to be taken out to eat because he got 1,000 yards, and he was complaining about picking up that check. I wonder how that turned out for him.
And he said, I wasn't aware of that.
No, I never heard about that. Kyle didn't tell me anything about that when he got out of here.
Good look at Berge. He's the fullback on this series, 240-pounder. Setting up on the wide side is another Judge player, and Tim Wacker. Now Wacker comes back in motion to the left on 2nd and 8. Showing pass all the way. Going deep down the far side for Peterson. In and out of his hands, incomplete right near the pylon. Well, Peterson's had 2 chances early, but couldn't come up with either.
Well, you can tell by the 2 plays that he's gone to Peterson so far that these two are greatly familiar with one another. Here he times this to the very back of the end zone. He either catches it or it's out of the back of the end zone, and that's once again right through. From that angle, looks like it's once again right through the hands. Carl Peterson here in the heat and the pressure of the All-City game, not quite out of his pregame jitters yet. Hasn't quite shaken that out yet.
Dale Curry with a perfect pass there because it hit the pylon. The only player who could get it was his receiver, or it goes out of bounds. Draw play here to hand off to Dan Jones in the secondary. Bounced it outside and brought down at the 15-yard line. That'll be good for another first down, the 5th overall in this opening quarter.
And it's a good thing Marcellus Salmon's got a handful of jersey. Otherwise, we could be tallying up another 6 points. We'll take 2 looks at it first. Just a little bit of a delay right up the middle, and then he's going to break it to the outside. Switch that ball to the other hand. Once again, let's look at it as he comes to the line. Good blocking up front. And then it's just speed and strength right there.
First and 10, 15-yard line for the non-public Stars. In motion goes Wacker to the far side. Already 7-0 for the non-pubs. Hand off here to Berge, who is stopped shy of the 10-yard line. Mark him down at about the 11.
6'1", 240 pounds, a decent size, but obviously a very gentle man, as he's going to study art and design when he goes to East Stroudsburg. So he's got an artistic side as well. He doesn't just like to pound people. I guess he'll also decorate their homes or something as well. I don't know what you do with art and design.
Well, that's just it. If they don't like it, you can pound them.
Exactly. What? You don't like my sconces?
That's a balance. Come on. What are you talking about? Here we go. 2nd and 5. Call it the 11-yard line. And once again in the backfield, it is Berge evading Jones. And in motion, Squitieri. 5-step drop, show him pass all the way. Curry to the end zone, in and out of the hands of George Flack from Father Judge, and incomplete. So the Judge combination trying to hook up for 6, just missed.
Judge and Judge, for some reason, they can't seem to find the lock that they had all season. Just a real easy pass, a short drop right over the middle. He heaves this thing. Hits him right in the hands. There's just no 2 ways about it. That's just a misfire there by Flack. It's a good pass from Curry. Just a bad drop by the receiver. Unfortunately, that goes in the stat book against the quarterback.
Now, Curry's been on the mark so far. 3rd and 5 at the 10-yard line to get a first down at the 5. Man in motion. Handoff here goes to Jones. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Cross the 10 to about the 9, but that's all. That time. Good effort by the D-back to come up and make the stick. That was Cedric Green, number 21 on the tackle.
That's probably the best pressure that they've gotten up front. They got a slant going on that one. That's probably the best pressure they've had up front for the public league all day. And it's been a short day.
4th and 3 coming up now at the 8-yard line, and a field goal opportunity for Charlie Squitieri. First team All-Catholic, 2nd team All-City. The placement down. Squitieri's kick is on the way. High enough, long enough, but no good. Just a little bit wide left. So we'll take a timeout. 3 minutes and 10 seconds ago in our opening quarter. The non-public Stars still leading by a score of 7-0. The non-public Stars with the lead here. Second opportunity now for public quarterback Marcel Quarterman and company. Quarterman with one back in the backfield, hands off here to Jeremy Benson, who gets back to about the line of scrimmage, and that is all. Good effort once again up front, as it's really been the play of the defensive line that has blocked up the holes.
Well, the non-public line has done a great job going both ways. I mean, they've been cracking holes open offensively and then just clogging them up like you can't believe on the defensive side.
All but no gain. 2nd and 10 at the 20-yard line after the run by Benson. Backs are well split. Receiver in the slot to the left, and Quarterman looking that way, dumps it off, complete. The ball caught and spun around after the catch. Trying to split out of the tackle was Dustin Hardy-Moore. First time we've seen him tonight.
Take a look at this ball from the snap. Comes up, Quarterman, 1, 2, 3. Waits for his receiver to get set. It's more like a lateral than a pass. And then Hardy-Moore is going to do the rest. And he just gets popped in the back. Good shot by Billy Kennedy from Newman.
Still, the play went for 7-yard, Rob. It sets up a 3rd and 3 at the 27, but just 1:50 and the clock running here in our first quarter. That defense jumped off. The question is, was there off movement on the offensive front to draw them off or not?
I'm going to vote against that.
I think
you're
right.
They went on their own.
I think the defense jumped off and dead ball.
I was incorrect.
Ball starting the offense. I didn't see movement, but they were drawn off. So a 5-yard penalty.
I've been watching too much baseball. I didn't spot the motion.
I didn't see it either. So after the procedure penalty, he sets up a 3rd and 8. Football spotted back at the 22-yard line.
And so much for what had been the Public League's most promising shot at a first down.
So Quarterman has his play, and we'll see if the Central Star can maybe put one up here. Jovan Pratt comes wide to the near side. He's a pretty big-time receiver. Has the white helmet at the bottom of your screen. Rolling that way. Quarterman, Del Pratt to go deep now. Heaves it, and he will go behind the coverage. It's incomplete. Nothing but white shirts there. Quarterman did what he could, but he had to get rid of the football.
Yeah, there's just a lot of pressure coming from the non-pub side. You're going to see Quarterman, first of all, these guys hit each other in the backfield. Now here he is rolling out. You see him trying to communicate with Sheldon Ford, the tight end down the field. He wanted him to break it off. At first, Ford was going down the field looking to block, and he just couldn't get his attention and get him to either take the pass or break it long. So once again, they're forced to punt the ball.
Jones and Brinkley are deep for the non-public Stars, and a good look from the end zone as Rich McMillan is ready to kick this football away. Plenty of time. With some air under it, goes off the side of his foot, however, and goes out of bounds just across the 40-yard line. They're going to spot it at about the 42. Well, we should tell you that the first golf outing was held earlier this month for the City All-Stars and the non-pubs at the John Byrne Golf Club in Northeast Philly. School district administrators, ex-players, and some coaches also took part. Some showed they can play pretty well, and others did not.
It's a great game, but it makes a lot of us look fairly untalented.
That's why I stay away from it. I shouldn't talk. On the run, here's a quick toss, and the tight end has the catch. Once again, that's the play that had the touchdown reception, and Matt Parkhurst, and back upfield, a flag has been thrown as a little extracurricular activity has taken place. It's one thing you don't want to see in an all-star game.
No. Sportsmanship rules, and Gil Brooks isn't going to take that, especially not from one of his own players. Let's take a look at this, and we can see the roots of the friction here. There's a roll out, a little holding there as Isaiah Thompson rolls out of that. Nice way to take a seat by Parkhurst and just settle down and catch the football. You see him giving a little shot to the defensive player Omar McDonough, like, hey, nice shot, but I caught the ball. Now the referee's got to sort of figure it out and try to figure out who started this and if there's any way that they can keep both players in the game. You really don't want to put anybody out this early.
We'll see if we pick up the call here. Once again, Tom McLean is our referee tonight. Well, if I know Gil Brooks and also Doug McCauley, they won't put up with too much of this. Those guys who get involved in that kind of activity, their night probably has come to a close.
Yeah, Gil is livid because at the end of it was one of his players, acting like a Park 8, and he will not tolerate that. Now Gil is here comes the call.
Well, while they sort this out, we can tell you that the weather's been perfect for football as the crowd has turned out in full force here at Charlie Martin Stadium tonight. A good crowd on hand here on both sides.
Great night to do anything but a really good night to celebrate football in the city of Philadelphia.
Personal foul, dead ball, offsetting penalties, first down. So offsetting personal foul penalties. And I think the football going to be spotted. Well, the line of scrimmage was the 40. And we'll see where they mark it down. Charlie Martin Stadium, the site of the 30th annual City All-Star football game, the public versus the non-public stars in the city of Philadelphia. And the field here at Charlie Martin Stadium going to get a full-fledged renovation in the near future. But right now, the traditional grass and dirt. Football is spotted at the 30. So 1st and 10, 30-yard line for the non-public stars, playing with a short field. Man in motion is Squitieri. Hand off here goes to Brinkley. Got maybe a yard, and that is all. And the defense has clamped down on Brinkley. Ray Williams out of Frankfurt was in on the tackle. And our first quarter has come to a close. 7-0. The non-public stars out front after the first 15 minutes. Stay with us on CNA tonight. Even the cheerleaders of the All-Star variety, as they are picked from the city schools to come out and cheer on their male counterparts. Good crowd on hand here tonight. 7-0 our score with the non-public stars in the lead with the football. 2nd and 8 at the 28-yard line of the public. And we'll see if they can't crank up another score as Andre Sloanell is in a quarterback. Here's the quarterback that scored the opening drive. Man in motion and Ferriolo. Hand off to the first back through. Flag on the play, however. Dominic Rock on the carry, but this one could come back. He had enough for a first down, but let's hold on. All of a sudden, Tom, the plane's been kind of busy out there.
Today's a work day. It's fun for the fans, but it's a work day for the officials. He's going to go against the non-pubs, illegal motion against the non-pubs. We see Gil Brooks there just shaking his head. These kind of things happen in all-star games sometimes.
5-yard penalty will push it back across the 30 at the 33-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 13 at the 33 for the non-public stars after that illegal shift.
The Judge Corps of receivers come in with a play. They didn't have much success catching the ball from their own guy, Dale Curry. Let's see how they do from Andre Sloanell.
It's just the first penalty to 2 so far for their public counterparts. 2nd and 13. Looking for the screen, complete to Curtis Brinkley. Brinkley into the secondary with some running room, and it takes 3 green jerseys to bring him down at about the 11-yard line. A first down on the catch and run by Curtis Brinkley.
When you got a weapon like that, you got to use them in all kinds of different ways. Sometimes just coming out of the backfield is enough. Here, they throw the screen. You're going to see great blocks by Jim Alberts and Mike Dolan. They clear the way to allow him to get all the way downfield. They break that second level wide open for him.
Spotted at the 12 where it is 1st and 10. 7th first down of the first half now for the non-public stars. Man in motion, Charlie Squitieri. Hand off to the first back, that is Rock, hits the hole, good second effort all the way down to the 6-yard line for Dominic Rock out of Cardinal Doherty.
Rock from the dock averaged 6.1 yards per carry this year. That was a nice little hard cut to get back up inside there and get the yards going straight ahead. You saw him moving towards the off-tackle box, but as soon as he saw that hole, he stepped right into it.
Goes off the field, he ran for over 1,000 yards this past season. Sets up a 2nd and 5 as whistles blow here. Official timeout.
The chin strap problem in the secondary for the public league squad.
Football spotted at the 7. I'm sorry, Rob.
Tini Michelle having a problem with his equipment, and he's going to have to come off the field because he can't get his chin strap right.
He'll be replaced by Marcellus Salmons. So Salmons, number 15, joins the fray. Pretty much time for the goal line package, though. It's 2nd and 5 at the 7. Andre Sloanell with a man in motion. Hands off here to Brinkley. Crosses the 5 to about the 4, and that is all. Well, they've run Brinkley in short yardage situation. He's done well, but that time could not get away from Dennis Hill.
You get in, the teams have to run a 5-2 in this game, and in this situation, the linebackers are allowed to step up and fill those gaps and effectively give you the 7-man front. So, it's hard to get those yards inside no matter who you are.
Sloanell looks at the bench, and I think we may have we're going to have a timeout taken by the public defense as they need to shore things up. Well, we talk about this series being fairly even, and over the last 5 years, the non-public has won 3 games to 2, but the public last victory back in 2001, 13-0. Notice only that 20-3 score, Rob, where any one team really pulling away from the other.
Yeah, I mean, the Philadelphia Public League and Cap Leagues are pretty well balanced. I mean, it's competitive on both sides of the ball. And so, not only that, this is a grudge match. This is a game that a lot of guys talk about. When I got to college at Temple, a lot of lunch conversations centered around your performance in this game, your performance in the Catholic League Championship, your performance in the Public League Championship. I mean, this is a game that these guys carry with them for the rest of their lives. And nobody wants to come out of this on the short end and have to listen to the story, all the positive stories, by their teammates at lunchtime, at the next level.
Some go on to the next level, and as you mentioned, for some, this is the final game they may ever play.
We want to go out on a positive note. I mean, football's been a big part of life. Some of these guys have been playing it, half the time they've been alive.
3rd and 2 from the 5-yard line with a man in motion, backs on the I-tandem, and the deep man with a handoff into the end zone for the touchdown is Curtis Brinkley. He found the end zone 28 times last year. And he's in the end zone once again before he goes off to play for the Orange at Syracuse.
Joining Pasqualoni's Army, but first he's going to put on the show for the home fans. You see on that play there, Brinkley just showing a great cutting ability on there, a great way to read the blocks and then react to that. Curtis Brinkley is really something special. I mean, the numbers alone, I don't think, tell the story. Although he's the all-time leading rusher in the city of Philadelphia, that's just half of the story.
Here is Charlie Squitieri, already 1 for 1 on extra points. The placement down, got this kick away, and this one is no good. So Squitieri has missed from 18 yards on a field goal attempt, and now he is just 1 of 2 on the extra points. But Brinkley makes it a 13-0 game. Take a look at the touchdown run.
You watch him follow his fullback, and then he just cuts that. The center of the field is wide open. Although the play is designed to go right tackle, all the pressure push into the right, and he just cuts it up the middle. They've created a gap. It's a walk in the park.
Well, Brinkley, one of the all-time rushing leaders, as a matter of fact, was the career leader in yards, carries, yards in a season. Did that his junior year. And also had 76 career rushing touchdowns. 6 plays to go 40 yards here in 3 minutes and 23 seconds as he's into the end zone for the first time tonight.
One of the great stories that come out of this season is Eddie Gaskins befriending Curtis Brinkley and sort of becoming a mentor to him. Eddie Gaskins held the record before Curtis came along, and he sort of really got into Curtis's corner, and they talked by cell phone a couple times a week, and really just stood up for the young man and helped him through this, and just talk some football with him, talk some life with him.
Squitieri ready to kick it away to Danny Smith or Arnold Mullins. This will be Smith at the 10-yard line. Smith to the 20, the 25, head down to the 30-yard line. Nice return by Danny Smith. And decent field position, 1st and 10 at the 30 to start this drive for the Public League Stars. But they trail by a score of 13-0. We still have 12:29 to go here in our first half.
You see Rich McFillin coming in, the quarterback from Washington, 6 feet, 180 pounds. They're going to change captains here and see if they can get a different result offensively.
Well, McFillin over the last 3 years, 455 passing yards and 5 touchdowns, but he was able to get his team into the championship game in 2003. Pretty much made his mark, though, in the city as a kicker. Flag on the first play from scrimmage, so let's just hold on here for McFillin and company.
Fullback got an early start on that play, so it'll be coming back.
So that'll make it 1st and 15 back at the 25-yard line. Doug McCauley has seen his team squander their best first down opportunity on the last drive when a penalty cost him a 3rd and 3.
McFillin has gone over to the sidelines to talk to his coaches and get some instruction directly. Instead of having the play brought in, he went over to the sidelines to get some clarification from the coaching staff.
Not an insurmountable challenge at 13-0, trailing here with A full 12-19 to play in the first half.
A whole day's worth of football left to play.
Deep toss here goes to Mullins. Mullins hit hard and going down. Now good pursuit on the play. And coming up from the safety position that time, Greg Ambrosi.
Take a look at this from behind. Here's the toss. And as soon as he can get out there, before Arnold Mullins can even get out there, a great grab by Chris McArdle from Ryan, the defensive end, who's 5'8", 170 pounds, was the MVP for Ryan this year. He just shut that down.
Well, the Public Stars have a little catching up to do. 169 yards to just 1 at this point.
1 is truly a lonely number.
Sure is. But it beats 0 any day.
0 really a number?
It's a digit. Bad snap. Fielded nicely, though, by McFillan. Flushed out. Once now throws back across the green. Almost intercepted. Incomplete. Batted down at the last moment by Tom Fontaine. Now Fontaine gets a hand. He almost jumped in and picked that off.
Big time play by Fontaine as he got in the way of Bernard Franklin to break up that reception. Come on, heave it. He's gonna run now. Presence of mind, pick the ball up and let go of it. And at the end, this is just gonna see. There goes right there. He sees the hands up.
I got you.
Just a big time play by Tom Fontaine.
So McFillan comes back to the huddle on 3rd and 17 from the 33-yard line. Fontaine's the player that knocked it away. It's out of West Catholic. Only 5'8". Had the jump on the gun there. Shotgun, McFillan gets away from run, throws underneath, bounced it incomplete. Trying to get the ball to Arnold Mullins, but he short hopped it, and the ball's going to go over on downs. So punt situation here. 4th and 17 coming up.
Seemingly no matter what buttons the Public League presses, they cannot get the machine to work right now. See sort of a look of exasperation by Doug McCauley there.
McFillan will set up at the 10-yard line as Dan Jones and Curtis Brinkley are set to return this kick. Jones with a red helmet in the foreground. Good snap. McFillan with time. Gets this away. Gets off a nice kick. It's going to drive Brinkley back. Has it now. Comes across the 40 and upended. His helmet comes off. Quite the stick. As making that tackle with a hard hit was Marcellus Salmons. We'll take a timeout. And with that, Mr. Mullins can collect himself after he was almost decapitated. We'll come back in a moment. 13-0. Loaded up on the pass. It's a little bit underthrown. And this will be caught. I think the receiver took it away. Oh, caught a reception. And coming out with a football is Cardinal Peterson. Somehow Peterson was able to wrestle away from the defender, and it's a first down.
Peterson goes into this one playing defense. He's going to break this pass up, and somehow he wrestles it away. Platini Michel is there. The ball is his for the taking. And somehow Peterson manages to pull this duck out of the air from over the top of Michel. Yikes!
Michel could not come up with a pick. Peterson makes the catch. 1st and 10, 35-yard line, and Jones gets just a yard going off the left side. That times Jones was being stalked down by David Callaway, but we've heard a lot about Peterson. He's living up to the reputation after that one.
He had 50 receptions during the season. I'll bet you none was as spectacular as that one right there.
I think you're right. After the run by Jones, gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Football spotted at the 32-yard line. Man in motion is Tim Wacker. And off here goes to Rock. On the face mask, but he got away from that, and Rock is upended at the 30-yard line.
Rock, a good hard runner, had 1,038 yards during the season. Getting a few hard-earned ones there right up the middle.
Sets up a 3rd and 5 at the 30. And Dale Curry has thrown the football well, except for that last pass that was actually a reception. Gets back to the huddle.
It goes down as a reception. Nobody doesn't get there. There's no asterisk for wounded duck in there.
Like just didn't have wings on. 3rd and 5, 30-yard line for the non-public Stars. Step drop. Curry steps up, hit from behind, and the arm was going forward. It's incomplete. Good pressure on the quarterback that time, as Curry never had a chance to get it away. Pretty good speed rush.
The squad is able to get some pressure in there on the quarterback. And we'll take a look at this. Let's see Curry straight up front. 1, 2, 3, covered there. And you see Otis Young making the play right there. Defensive lineman from Lincoln getting the arm in there, pushes his man upfield, and then comes back and just gets a little bit of the arm before wrapping Curry up.
Now decision time for the non-public Stars, because it's 4th and 5 at the 30. Good look at Otis, who's on his way to New Hampshire. First team All-City performer and first team All-Public as well. Grew up in Frankfurt.
As an offensive lineman. Grew up in Frankfurt and went to Lincoln.
His mom says he didn't like him hanging with the crowd that was around town, so she shipped him out. And it paid dividends.
Hopefully she's not out in the crowd hollering his nickname today.
Pookie?
Grown man and she's calling him Pookie. There can be little more embarrassing than that.
That's one big Pookie, let me tell you. We're going for the first down here. 4th and 5 at the 30. Back in the I tandem. 2 wide outs go to the left. Tight end sets up on the right. Tight end releases and tries for the screen. It's behind Van Jones and incomplete. Good pressure on the quarterback, but they let him come. They were trying to set up the screen to Jones, but the pass was behind him.
Curry's getting a lot of pressure. There's Curry. Straight on, you see what he sees. He's got the rush coming up hard on the left side. He's got Otis Young coming up the front of him. So he has to just let go of this ball and does so in a haphazard fashion. Gets tipped around a couple of times, and finally, a turnover on downs by the non-Pubs.
Public defense held up their end of the bargain, and now the offense has to kick it into another gear as they trail by a score of 13-0 with 8:58 to play here before halftime. And once again, Rich McMillan out of Washington High, 13 All-City as a kicker, is in at quarterback. And he wants a timeout. It looked like McMillan looked at the huddle and noticed that the personnel was not there for the play that was called.
You got to love the leadership abilities, even at quarterbacks at this age. I mean, you have to know everything, know all your personnel. He looked over the huddle, didn't like what he saw. You know what? We're not going to go with something I'm not comfortable with. Take the timeout.
Well, a lot of fellowship shared right here on the field, but also shared on Thursday night, as well as traditionally Thursday before the game. The teams get together. Cliff Hubbard, the director of athletics from the School District of Philadelphia, along with Ralph Recapito, one of the founders of this game, were on hand to introduce all the players from both the non-public and the public squads as well. It's always a big night as they receive some mementos of the occasion, and the parents and friends always on hand showing their support as well. Well, here at Charles Martin Stadium in Northeast Philly, the non-public Stars leading by a score of 13-0. Nick Moningoff and Rob Brooks with you tonight. The public Stars with the football. First time tonight running the ball is Rondell Parson. And Parson's still going across the 40-yard line. He'll be very close to a first down. The Graf's running back didn't come in with all the heralded stats. Only 749 yards this season, but quite an effort there.
Well, you know, he only came in with 749 on this season, but he has 1,700 career yards. And watch just the strength, just keeping those legs driving, not letting anybody get him wrapped up, just pushing. You know, if you want to bring him down, you're going to have to earn it. That's all. I'm not saying I'm the toughest guy in the world. I'm just saying you're going to have to earn it. First down of the night for the Public League Stars.
And off here, didn't like it. We're going to give it to Parson, but Parson takes this one and gets another 5 good yards. And I keep giving him the football. He's got it working.
Not broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. The handoff exchange in the backfield wasn't the cleanest, and it looked like the quarterback and running back almost ran into each other.
Somebody ran the wrong route based on the fact that, here we go. Yeah, that's probably McMillan who ran the wrong route to get the ball back to Parson, based on the fact that Parson hit the hole and the hole was there. I'm going to say that it was probably McMillan who had the bad footwork. It's like that Parson comes off the field.
But Parson, after 2 carries, gets a blow. Arnold Mullins is back in at tailback. Mullins will take the handoff here, hits the hole hard, leans forward. It'll be a yard shy of a first down for the Public League.
We talk about the running of Parsons, but suddenly it looks like the entire big green wall of the Public League has got it cranked up a little bit. You know, sometimes you get your back up against the wall, you're down 13-0, you really haven't done a whole lot, and maybe a coach challenges your manhood or something, and now you got to step it up. It's, you know, it's time to dig in. It was fun. It's summertime. Graduation's coming up. All that's well and good, but there's somebody about to take something from you, and you know you got to play some football all of a sudden.
On the offensive front right now, you have Navarre Archie, who's actually a defensive lineman listed in the program, but they bring him in the block here. And I don't know if they got the first down. It looks like the ball came loose. The non-public stars say they have it. See what happens when they unstack this file. I think the Public League stars still have it. I don't think they have a first down.
Be interesting to see where the placement on this, because the original surge looked like it all went backwards.
And McFillan on the sneak. He was down before that ball came out.
Yeah, he hit the ground, and then it popped out when it hit the ground. But it's interesting because one half of the line went forward, positive direction. The other half went backwards, and McFillan somehow wound up in the middle of all that and got the yard that he needed.
Second first down of this drive that started at the 30-yard line. First and 10 at the 41 for the Public League Stars, trailing 13-0. And off here, trying to turn the corner as Mullins hit hard as he crosses the 45 to the 46-yard line, stays in bounds, clock continues to run.
Mullins facing three defenders coming to get him, trying to string him out and get him out of bounds. He just cuts the angle a little bit and tries to get whatever he can. Here they go. There's Mullins with the rock. He's got it in the left hand, and now they're trying to string him out. They're trying to get him to the sideline, so you see him make the turn, realize I'm just going to use my speed and get whatever little I can out of this. Know the posse's coming, so I might as well get something positive out of it.
Gain of 6, second and 4 at the 47-yard line. Jermaine Booker brings him up. There's a good look at Mullins in the backfield. Going to take the handoff here, sidesteps one, can't get by the second. Gets about a yard on the play. As bringing him down was Brandon Friday, the nose tackle from St. Joe's Bell.
Let's take a look at Mullins. He's going to ISO step one, then take it right up the middle. But Brandon Friday gets the wrap on him from behind. Friday heading to Bucknell to study either mechanical or electrical engineering, which means he can do a little bit of math.
Absolutely. Bucknell, Patriot League school. It's on par with the Ivy, so he's got something on the ball. Third and 2 here at the 48-yard line. Drive started back at the 30. Hand off to Mullins, has the first down and a little more as he is stopped shy of the 45-yard line at the 46. Another first down, third first down of the drive.
All three in the game are here in this one drive for the Public League squad. Just a nice little run by Mullins. He was headed to the outside, and then just seeing that he's shut off from the outside, just dives hard up the field and gets the first down.
Their 8th play in a drive coming up. The 7th previous plays have all been kept on the ground, and Gil Brooks sees the offensive machine starting to grind it out against his defense. Kayan Walton, big tight end. Defensive lineman comes in to play tight end here. Backs in the pro set from the shotgun. Rich McFillan kind of airs it out, underthrew his receiver. It's incomplete. Looks like it was underthrown, and the receiver stopped. The ball actually went beyond it.
Yeah, and Greg Ambrosi had a shot there at an interception. He froze for a little bit because I think he thought like you that the ball was underthrown, and then it sort of floated on him. Out of the shotgun, the snap's a little low, so immediately McFillan's got to recover. He's got to think about something else. Now rolling to the left side, he has to sort of rear back and throw that ball. And Ambrosi had a good shot at an interception.
So McFillan has his play and comes back to the huddle. Good look at Ambrosi as his brother's was a sophomore at University of Pennsylvania. He's going to join his brother with the Quakers next season.
Brother's got some Ivy League hardware. I'm sure that was part of the inspiration for him going and joining them.
There you go. Back-to-back Ivy League champions for the Quakers. McFillan hands off here to Parson, caught from behind. First time the defense has stepped up and brought him down in this drive. Good effort by Dave Levan, the defensive end out of Archbishop Ryan.
Levan and Julius Carter also getting some pressure up there. Carter out of Doherty, and here we go. It's a little bit of a veer play, and Levan steps up, gets the shoulder pad right into the thigh pad of Parsons and takes him right out.
Big play coming up here, not only for the defense, but probably more important for the offense. A 3rd and 10 at the 46-yard line. Mark Reiter, tight end, brings the play in.
You see Levan there out of Ryan. He wants to join local union number 98. He didn't want to go to college or anything. He just wants to go join 98 and make some big dough.
He's shocking people right now out there, that's for sure. Quarterback rolls with plenty of time. McMillan throws on the run, in and out of the hands of the defensive back, and that is Ambrosi, incomplete. He knew he had a pick, but just couldn't bring it in.
You know what they say the difference between a D-back and a receiver is? The hands. And that's unusual. Ambrosi now has had 2 shots at a pick. He had 12 of them during his career, but hasn't been able to come up with these 2 right here. And you see him rolling behind the receiver. Michael Washington gets in position. The ball just sort of hits him in the face mask and then bounces off his chest.
Yep, Ambrosi knew he had a pick, couldn't come down with it.
As a member of a football family, he knows that he's going to hear something about that a little later on.
Yeah, plus the replay didn't help him. 4th and 10, 46-yard line, and McMillan on to punt the football away after the drive that stalled out. Great kick, though, as it will be handled barely at the 10-yard line by Dan Jones. He was down on one knee, lost the handle, and luckily the defender did come up with it before he did.
Handled barely. I think it hit the ground. I think he covered it. I don't think he caught it as much as he covered it. I think it hit the ground between his legs, and he just sort of leaned on top of it.
Well, let's take a look at the 2003 Philadelphia Daily News Players of the Year. We're seeing a few of them here tonight. And Mullins from Frankfurt, Curtis Brinkley from West Catholic, co-player of the year with Tracy from St. Joe's Prep, and Brian Savage, the Interact Player of the Year from Haverford.
Well, Haverford wasn't so far outside the city, he might be here as well.
1st and 10, 10-yard line, probably the worst starting position tonight for the non-public stars, and Brinkley, with a burst of speed, carries up close to the 20-yard line, gain of 10, and close to a 1st down.
It's nice to have somebody like that. You know what, I'm really not crazy about our field position to start with. Curtis, can you give us a little breathing room here? Curtis obliges, picks up the 1st down.
Decent offense tonight. 8th 1st down in the ball game. 13-0. Non-public stars with the football and a comfortable lead here with 2:55 to go. Straight up the middle this time, and that is Rock, the Cardinal Doherty running back. Had 12 touchdowns last season and 15 in his career.
Nice little change of pace when you put a player like Rock in that fullback position where you expect a big hefty guy, and here you got the little speedster, and he just takes off right behind that space made by the guard and picks up 9 yards.
Nice effort. 29-yard line for Andre Sloanell and company. 1 wide to the near side. Wacker in motion to the near side as well, and the flow comes that way. Sloanell steps up. Now he's going to take it himself. Tries the left sideline, gets by 1, and chased out of bounds. Good pursuit that time by David Calloway to get him out.
Calloway also getting to see the wrong side of a stiff arm from Sloanell. Guarantee you one of the first things that Pasqualone is going to teach him when he gets to Syracuse is to slide, Jackie, slide.
Hear that? Yeah, it's a different level in the Big East.
Yeah, you got to protect yourself a little bit more when you get to that next level.
Good look at Calloway. 1st and 10, however. And the handoff here goes to Brinkley. But not much form, as the defense has done a pretty good job of containing the run inside the tackles tonight. That time on the stop, you had Otis Young out of Lincoln.
Ray Williams also finally getting some penetration. The defensive lineman out of Frankfurt bowls his way up there and just sort of gets a leg. He's 6 feet, 310 pounds. And there you see Ray Williams just sort of having a stalemate with his man, and he just sort of leans off him and grabs a leg full of ball carrier.
2nd and 9 at the 39, 5-step drop, and here's the tight end. Arkansas makes the catch. Has the 1st down and more all the way up to the 40-yard line. Parkhurst with a reception. The St. Joe Prep star on his way to Marshall next year.
You will see here a conspicuous lack of green shirts over on that side of the field. Parkhurst is lonely when he catches that football. It's not until he reaches all the players in the secondary, the deep men, that he sees another human being. That's just amazing. Where was that middle level of coverage?
Just wasn't there. 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. 146 yards passing for the non-public Stars tonight to only 8. Ooh, good hit. Drop for a loss this time is Curtis Brinkley. Well, Brinkley was stood up. That time it was Gerald Dove making a hit.
Dinkley's batting, and there was some contact, but you know what? That was a heck of a hit, and then both guys stood their ground. You're going to see Brinkley, he's going to jump up in there, and he's going to run into Michael Robertson from Dobbins, and he's going to hold his ground. Robbins sort of bounces a step and then gets right back on him. You know, and then Gerald Dove comes in and finishes him off.
Well, Dove has great closing speed, 4.4 speed. Kind of like the utility player, and he was a first-team All-City performer on offense. And Roberts, yeah, he's on his way to Temple. He was honorable mention All-City this past year.
Roberts probably going to wind up walking on at Temple. He's not sure if he wants to play some more football, but he thinks he's going to walk on it and continue to play. Still has the bug in him a little bit.
So with 1:03 to go, we have a timeout taken. Trying to get the public Stars fired up.
Defense also took a walk out on the field trying to do much the same. Although I don't know if his message was as positive as theirs is.
You're probably right. We heard Vince Trombetta, the defensive coordinator, before the game, telling his public Stars, don't play that way tonight, in a very nice way. Back to throw here is Sloanell. Sidesteps one hit. Steps up, gets away from a second tackler, takes off, trying to get positive yards, and he'll be about 5 yards shy of a first down before he's finally knocked out of bounds.
I'll tell you what, he can run the rock a whole lot. He's got some nice stutter step moves. He does a good job reading the defense. He can feel the pressure pretty well. Look at him, he steps up, gonna step away from some pressure there. Now step inside, look at him just tuck it. Now, I've seen enough, it's time to get some positive yardage here. Tucks the ball, gets real decisive. Love to see a quarterback get decisive. Don't, will I, won't I, will I, won't I. You know what? I've wasted enough time looking, let's go.
3rd and 5 coming up here at the 36-yard line. 13-0 non-public Stars, the lead and the ball. Sloanell, 3-step drop, throws underneath, has his man in Carl Peterson. Peterson goes down the middle, slides, and has the first down, crossing the 30 to the 25-yard line.
And Sloanell going to ask for the timeout now as we are under a minute here in the second quarter of this game. Non-Cubs want to end this half on a positive note, push this one in. You see a nice route there by Peterson. He stops like he's going to take the wide receiver screen, then cuts inside the middle there. Another look, you're going to see him coming across there. It's a little inside screen by the wide receiver. He stops like he's going to take it on the outside, then comes across to the middle, having let the defense clear out. And he's got all the space in the world to get the first down that he needs.
Well, Peterson he had exactly 50 catches in the season. Chance to catch his breath. Hey, don't forget, coming up at the half, we'll get an in-depth look at Gil Brooks, the head coach of St. Joe's Prep, as he's put together a pretty nice run of 35 games in a row, along with 3 championships. We'll also have stats and highlights. It's all coming up. CN8 at the half. Stay with us for that.
Gil is quite amazing. I mean, he's an attorney by day, football coach by night, and I don't know when he sleeps.
Tried to catch up with him earlier in the week, and he was called away to Bermuda of all places. 1st and 10, 25. Across the middle, diving catch now. Incomplete. The intended receiver was Charlie Squitieri out of Roman Catholic. Looked like he had it for a moment, but the ball was a little low from Sloanell.
It was a little bit low, and it looked like he was rolling over as he caught that ball, and centrifugal force whipped it out of his hands.
Centripetal or centrifugal?
Centrifugal.
Okay.
Going outward, spinning outward. Here we go. Look again. He's going to slide towards the ground, and as he rolls over,
oh, that's definitely centrifugal force.
Centrifugal force.
You're absolutely right.
I paid attention one day. I realized early on that I wasn't gonna make the show, and so I started paying attention in classes.
Forget that science stuff. Anyway, man in motion with 36 seconds to go. tripping the football and slowing down. Now rolls back, throws to the end zone. They're going to mark it at the 1-yard line for the tight end and Parkhurst. Matt Parkhurst with another big catch. Already has one touchdown tonight. If this one was a little bit further ahead, he would have had another one.
If he could have just slid another yard forward. You don't see big guys making adjustments to the ball like this. Parkhurst has to have some pretty good feet because he has to stop running and come back to the football. Look at him slow himself down, get the body under control. Those are sweet feet for a man that big, 6'4", 243 pounds. Usually that machine only goes forward. It doesn't stop real well.
See if you get a quarterback keep here. We're going to hand off. Into the end zone for the touchdown for Curtis Brinkley. So Brinkley finds the end zone with 10 seconds to go before the half. For Brinkley, his second touchdown jaunt tonight.
Brinkley with the homage to Marcus and Tony Dorsett going up over the top to bring it home. A little Sweetness also. Sweetness used to like to bring it home going over the top there.
11 plays to go 90 yards to end the half. That's not bad. Not bad at all.
That is back-breaking for the public league squad to have to go take that into the locker room and think about for 20 minutes.
So Brinkley into the end zone for the second time tonight. It's now 19-0, and they're going for a 2-point conversion with Sloanell under center. Drops back, here comes the rush, he is hit and going down. It's going to stay 19-0, courtesy of the rush from Cedric Green.
There is a flag on the play, and it could well, based on the position of the flag.
We'll just hold on.
I was thinking it's holding, but it could be a face mask when they were bringing Sloanell down. They dropped the flag back another couple of yards now, and that makes me think that it's going to be a face mask.
We're going to find out.
Enough speculation.
Face mask on the defense.
Personal foul.
Good call by Rob Brooks. We're all over that. There's no centrifugal force on that one either.
Know your evil plays.
Well, there's good penalties and bad penalties, and that was a bad penalty.
Take another look at this play as they sort out where they're going to place the ball. And breaking free right there, you see Cedric Green, and when he goes to bring Sloanell down, he gets a piece of that face mask.
Yep. Face mask penalty, and they'll retry the 2-point conversion.
That was a face mask on the public? That is the most unusual spot for that ball. They have that ball on the 6-yard line. You would think that would be half the distance.
Half the distance from where the penalty was?
No, half the distance from the
slot of scrimmage, right. So put it at about the 1.5. Anyway, here comes the quarterback roll. Sloanell trying to keep it himself to the left. And guess who? Once again, you're not getting away twice. Cedric Green in on the tackle, and it stays 19-0.
Little redemption for Cedric Green. No blood, no foul on that one.
Now let's go back and take a look at the touchdown run or flight to the end zone by Brinkley.
Right up over the top. He probably didn't even have to go airborne. He was probably at the line when he went airborne. And he got a pretty high. He'd probably be a heck of a high jumper if he ever put his mind to it.
There you go. I always liked the way back in college when Herschel Walker used to take off from about the 4-yard line.
There goes the failed 2-point conversion. He couldn't get airborne. He couldn't do a Herschel. He could have used some Herschel Walker strength on that one to break that tackle by Green.
11 plays, 90 yards in 3 minutes and 10 seconds to make it 19-0 for the non-public Stars. Well, you got to credit the non-public offense for a big drive here to get more points in the final 10 seconds of the first half. As Brinkley has 2 touchdown runs tonight. Mullins is deep, number 25, along with Danny Smith. And here comes the kick from Squitieri. He's going to pooch it. And it is taken by one of the left backs. On the return with the football, it is the linebacker, Greg Myers. So even when you're a linebacker, you got to be prepared to handle the football, and Myers does it nicely. There is no time left on the clock, and that will be the final play of our first half. 3 touchdowns in the first half for the non-public All-Stars. They lead it by a score of 19-0 here on CNA. Halftime activity coming up. pitching a shutout right now, 19-0. And a chance to take a look at a coach who has built a dynasty in the Catholic League, and at the same time he's given something back to his alma mater. Here's more on Gil Brooks from St. Joe's Prep. Back in 2001, St. Joe's Prep started the season losing 3 straight games. Then the Hawks went on a tear. 35 games and 3 championships later, they've yet to lose. We asked Coach Gil Brooks what made it happen.
I knew we had a pretty good team that year as well, 01, and then we made some adjustments, and the kids got caught fire, and we did real well. But actually that year we played a lot of the kids who were seniors this year, so we had some young guys who were blended in at that point, and those kids became juniors and were very good, and then became seniors and were very good. So we just had some good teams, and I think also we as a team have played a lot of good quality opponents, and that's raised ourselves to a new level in terms of what it's like to play in those type of games, and prepare for those type of games, and win those type of games.
The players, well, they've bought into Brooks' no-nonsense style. That's become his trademark.
I guess I can be intense. I have a style. I guess I've always had the style basically as a player and a coach. In order for me to be successful as a player, I had to really concentrate and do things well, and do things well from a technique perspective, and know the game. And so I kind of try to coach it that way. And sometimes I could be a little bit short with or impatient with things not going as well as I think they should go. So I guess that's where the intensity part comes in. But I guess that's my style.
In his 12th season at the helm, Brooks remembers what it was like to play at his alma mater in the mid-'70s when the Hawks were a perennial power. And he's been successful in carrying on that winning tradition as a coach.
That's a lot of fun. I mean, I don't think I'd be coaching if it wasn't for the fact that it's my alma mater. I mean, it's just too time-consuming, and it's difficult to work it in, but it's a labor of love when it comes to something that you love. And for me, prep football was everything.
And along with the victories, Gil Brooks takes great pride in helping his players in continuing their playing careers at the collegiate level. He contacts colleges on a regular basis and gives his players opportunities on the field and in life.
Well, I'm lucky that I have kids at the prep who are generally good enough academically to attract attention from those schools, so they can get into a lot of places, and that helps. And so that's the starting point. And then you just try to interest the schools in the players and do what you can for them. I always tell the guys, hey, I'm going to ask a lot of you, but I promise you I'll give you a lot back. And I think that's one of the things you got to try to do. You want to make sure that the guys just, get that great education. And if football can help get them in an institution they want to go to, and help them get the money they need to go to the institution, then that's great. That's what it's all about.
Gil Brooks, a pretty intense guy, and he has that intensity going on the other sideline tonight as the non-public Stars lead at halftime, 19-0. We'll come back, stats and highlights around the corner. Stay with us on CN8 tonight. Public Stars leading the counterparts in the Public League. Let's take a look at our first half highlights, and you'll see that the very first possession, 10 plays to go, 88 yards, and Matt Parkhurst will pull in a touchdown reception from Andre Sloanell.
And Sloanell threads the needle right there. Perfect pass to Parkhurst to get the non-pups on the board first.
Curtis Brinkley from 5 yards out.
Good strong running by Curtis Brinkley. He's been the man all day for the non-pup squad. Once again, you see him this time going up over the top after a great reception by Parkhurst to set that up. Complete and total domination by the non-pups. The only number where the public lead is out in front is unfortunately the one area where you don't. Penalties, they have 4 for 20 yards compared to 1 to 5. Otherwise, everything on the board here is in favor of the non-pups.
It's been a non-public first half, 19-0 our score. We'll come back as the second half is just around the corner. Stay with us tonight on CN8. 19-0 as the Public Stars, Rob Brooks, have a little bit of catching up to do as they're trying to get their offense on track. Their defense really hasn't played that poorly. Sometimes the non-public Stars have had the benefit of the short field.
The first 2 possessions of the game, the public league defense really was a non-factor. But since that point, they've really stood up and represented themselves well. It's just their offense that just has not found a way to be able to get on track. Gil Brooks, you see there enjoying a smile. It's easy to smile when you're up 19-0, even for a guy who famously sweats the details.
Well, absolutely. Captains are out there as the Public Stars will have the football to receive to start quarter number 3, down by 19. And once again, remember the rule in this All-Star game. If you score and you're still down by 9 points, you can have the opponent kick back to you. And I'm sure that mode will be in effect should the Public League Stars score. Non-publics in white, the Public Stars in green here at Charlie Martin Stadium in Northeast Philadelphia tonight. Glad you can join us on CNA. It's Mick Moninghoff and Rob Brooks.
It'll be interesting to see how this second half grinds out. I went out the back door here to look over things. So a lot of players from the non-pub team taking off their shoulder pads and really trying to get some fresh air underneath those. You see Lou Zambino there trying to pump up the troops there and get them ready for this second half. The public squad went into the locker room for the first 10 minutes of the halftime. They all were ensconced in the locker room. Non-pub team was outside getting air, just trying to cool off, and meanwhile the pub team was inside really rattling their brains and trying to figure out how they're going to get it done here in the second half.
Danny Smith and Arnold Mullins are deep. And here's the kick from Johnny Spiteri. This is Danny Smith, still on his feet, all the way up to the 35-yard line. Decent field position for Danny Smith and company as the Public League looks to get on track here in quarter number 3.
Smith with a real nice return there, getting ready to treat the folks at Millersville to that show next year.
Absolutely. Smith was a pretty big-time receiver. Averaged just over 20 yards a catch. Quarterman's numbers, well, just 1 of 2 for 8 yards in the first half. No touchdown, no interception for Marcel as he is under center. Goes down the line with a straight option toss. Gets it to Mullins and turns the corner. He'll be about 3 yards shy of a first down. A little push and shoving going on the far side. As getting into it is Mark Reiter.
Public League still pretty fired up about these proceedings, and you want to make sure that everybody understands that this is a battle to the end today. As we take another look at this, Dante Bryant taking the pitch here, going around the right side, getting a good lead block out in front. Got the big fullback Jeremy Benson out in front of him, and just rides his hip all the way to the 8-yard gain.
44-yard line for Bryant. 2nd and 2 coming up. That's the 5-man front. Hand off here, and this will be good enough for first down all the way up to midfield. So Bryant gets back-to-back carries. He averaged 5 yards a carry last season and ran for 1,061 yards and 8 touchdowns. Well, Coach McCauley has the offense fired up here in quarter number 3 as they have on 2 plays, and now have a first down.
He'll take the credit for it, but as he told us before the game, I'm just the head coach. I got bigger things to worry about, like pregame meals and Gatorade. I'll leave the offense and defense to my assistants.
That's right. Down the line, going to go straight option, and Quarterman will keep it himself. Gets about 4 tough yards. So we have seen more option look to start the third quarter.
A more aggressive type of running from the public squad. Their Quarterman making a nice read on the end. Here we take a low angle look at this. Here comes Quarterman down the line. He's going to read that end. As soon as he sees the end, break to the outside. As soon as Kevin Calvert breaks to the outside, he cuts up on the inside of that action because that's the contain. He comes inside of that and gets the 4-yard gain.
2nd and 6. Football at the 44-yard line after the gain by Quarterman. Once again, Dante Bryant's in the backfield. 1 wide to each side. Contact made by the defense. Penalty should be against the defense unless somebody moved first on the offensive side. But we've been wrong once tonight. We'll see if we'll sort this one out.
Encroachment on the defense.
Encroachment on the defense.
So we have not repeated that mistake, although I'm sure we will.
That's the way I saw it.
Encroachment on the defense.
Tom
2nd
McLean
down.
signals it's still 2nd down. You would think that he's down 19-0.
You know what? Gil was yucking it up with the guys at the half. They were having a good laugh. But one thing that he told was that we got to keep the pressure up. And it seems that the guys, had one too many laughs during the half. So the Public League is going to come and really try to stick it to him here in the second half.
2nd and 1 at the 41, taking the free opportunity, loading up and going deep, trying to throw over the coverage. And out of the backfield, Arnold Mullins had it go just a little too far ahead, and it's incomplete. Quarterman tried to air it out to Mullins, but threw it a little too far ahead.
If Mullins could have run up to that one, both of the defensive backs turned around the wrong way. They got spun around. And if Mullins could have found a way to get the step or two on that ball, it would have been touchdown city.
2nd and 1. That's a pretty good call. Go ahead and throw it up because you should be able to get the 1 yard if you need it.
Yeah, you got 2 shots at it in theory. They're not punting on this at this part of the field.
No way. So good offensive call. They came up a little empty. 3rd and 1 at the 41-yard line. This time, handoff to the back, leaning forward, Dante Bryant. See where the spot is. He's very close to the first down. They'll unstack the pile after the tackle made by Alton Williams. And
that spot does not favor the Pubs.
No, inches short.
Look at all this holding, all this shoving by the Public League right now. They're really trying to send a message that this game is far from over. But unfortunately for them, all their pushing and fussing was for naught as they came up short on the 3rd and 1. They'll have to repeat it here, 4th and less than a yard.
4th and 1 at the 41-yard line. Backs are offset. Quarterback going to keep it himself, leaning forward for the first down, Marcel Quarterman. So Quarterman gets to the 40. It is 1st and 10.
Quarterman got that one on the 2nd effort. When he first leaned into the line, there was nothing there, no movement. So he just sort of shifted his body down the line until he found a crease and jumped in there.
Drive started back at the 36-yard line. They're across midfield now at the 40, where it is 1st and 10. Quarterman has his play, and he's going back to the huddle. Defensively, you have George Fox up front with Alex Garcia, along with Alton Williams, big number 74, staring at the offensive front. 1st and 10 at the 40. Quarterman, running the option, cuts it back inside into the secondary, spins off a tackler and crosses the 30 to the 29-yard line for a run that gets him very close to the first down.
Wow. A couple of nice efforts on that play right there. We're going to take a look. Watch first on this. The linebackers coming in. Quarterman wants to cut this up. You see the linebackers and the safety come up and fill. So now he bounces to the outside again. His boys keep blocking, create a crease for him on the outside. And he does a great job of getting the hard yards there, getting the first down.
Good spot. It goes for just over 10 yards. 1st and 10 now. As the football is spotted at the 29-yard line. After the run by Quarterman. Putting a nice drive together to come out of the locker room here in quarter number 3. Sheldon Ford, tight end, sets up on the far side. On the near side is Pratt. They're going to run straight forward. And the football gets down to about the 25-yard line. Good effort there by the fullback, Jeremy Benson. His dad was a big-time player at Frankfurt back in '75 when he scored 25 touchdowns and took his team to a Public League championship.
So he and his dad have a little something in common.
Absolutely.
They can talk about their titles. That's a lot of pressure for Jeremy's kid eventually, though, to have to go to Frankfurt and have to win another title. Got to keep these things going now.
That's what tradition's all about.
Some are easier to continue than others now.
2nd and 6. Football at the 25-yard line. Option toss here for Mullins, trying to turn a corner. He has the corner. First down and more. Down the far sideline. Breaking tackles. Gets to the end zone and touchdown. Arnold Mullins into the end zone from about 25 yards out. And the Public Stars are finally on the scoreboard. Pretty good effort by Mullins to turn the corner.
And Doug McCauley thinking about the strategy. There's 19-6 right now. How are we going to play it? What are we going to do? Looks like they're going to set up and go for the extra point here. Right now they're signaling they want 2. The signal's coming in, they want 2. They're going to have to take a timeout to get the proper personnel on the field.
Another look at the 25-yard scamper by Mullins on the option toss here.
And he was the City Player of the Year, City League Player of the Year. And here's just a player move, stepping through tackles, cutting hard, stepping through. Nice action here. You know, as I said in the open, it is hard to believe that Frankfurt was so deep that there's a chance he wasn't going to run the rock this year. But the coach had to come to him in the preseason and say, you know what, you are going to get some of this. And here you see him here rejoicing a little bit, going over to join his teammates and enjoy the fact that they no longer had a shutout tossed at him.
Well, Doug McCulley 1-1, players 1-2, so they're talking about it, but good blocking by Jeremy Benson and Aaron Hayes, allowing Mullins to turn the corner and go 25 yards to pay dirt. 8 plays to go 64 yards and 5:42. It's a good drive to start the third quarter. So after the timeout, we'll see exactly what transpires here on the conversion for the Public All-Stars. They're back in the ballgame, down by 2 scores.
If they go for 2, it'll be nice to see that Doug McCauley running a democracy, whereas most football coaches are dictators.
Yeah, my way or the highway,
You guys want to go for 2? Okay, we can go for 2, no problem. It's an all-star game. We're here to have fun. I wanted 1, but, let you guys have your way.
Ball for 2 here with Quarterman under center. 3 wides to the far side. Quarterman, option, tosses, and it's behind the intended ball carrier, and it'll be picked up, and the play is dead. The pitch went to Dante Bryant. Well, McCauley 1-1. Maybe that's why he's the coach.
Yeah. A couple more years of experience, a little less emotion probably in it, more of a clean thinking decision.
So it stays 19-6 after the conversion fails. Chance to take a look at some of the alumni who played in this game, who have gone on. Charles Way, Eric Williams, Rich Gannon, Frank Wycheck, Lance Johnston, and Raheem Brock out of Dobbins. And some pretty good other players too, and guys like Carlos Bradley and Victor Hobson, who's now with the New York Jets.
And a lot of those guys going on to the show. Carlos Bradley was actually out here earlier working with some kids. He runs a combine service and helps kids, not only prepare for the combine, but then succeed at it. He had some kids out here, a whole bunch of kids out on the field earlier, running 40s and lifting weights and doing all the things necessary. Now this is interesting. The Public League had the right to get the ball back as they are down by 9 still, and have opted to kick it away and just play clean football.
Could have taken advantage of a rule, but they're not going to. McMillan will kick this deep. And this will be Curtis Brinkley. Brinkley straight up the middle, hit hard, the ball came loose. I think the Public Stars might have it. Public Stars say they have the loose football. Scrum ensues. No signal yet. Flag
there goes
comes
the flag. The helmet was torn off. And the officials are signaling that the ball belongs to the non-pubs.
Another look at it here. See who actually comes up with it first. It was the run by Brinkley. Good hit. Was loose. Brinkley fell back at his own fumble.
Omar McDonough from Germantown puts the helmet on the football, and that's Brinkley's fault. He shouldn't be carrying that ball on the inside arm. He should have it over in his left arm. You don't have it on the field side. You put it on the boundary side for just this reason. McDonough able to stick his helmet right on that football and jar it loose. Now, a personal foul called. And obviously the personal foul is against the Public League All-Stars because they are marching 15 yards. And so the non-pubs will take over in the Public League side of the field, on the Public League side of the field.
Hey, about Andre Sloanell, 9 of 10 and a touchdown in the first half. A short field to work with here from the 45-yard line. Quick look in, the pass is behind his intended receiver, and it goes incomplete. Trying to sneak the ball in on the line to Ferriolo, but it's incomplete.
You know, one of the great things about these All-Star games, the camaraderie and everything, one of the things that confuses us, all these guys get into wearing everybody else's stickers on their helmet. You know the guy's from Ryan, but he's got, an M on his helmet, he's got this and that. Like, what is going on here sometimes?
And no names on the back of the jersey either. And in motion here is Tim Lackett, the judge. Goes right to Brinkley, who's hit hard about a yard gain in the play, and that is all for Curtis.
Well, you know, I heard one of the best explanations for the no name on the jersey from Casey Keeler in Delaware. He said, I think it's Casey, said the name's on the front. Delaware.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the rest. That's the important name.
Only one on the play for Brinkley. 3rd and 9 coming up from the 44-yard line. But a player down, we will take a timeout and then come right back to Charlie Martin Stadium. 19-6, the non-public Stars leading the counterparts in the public league. Stay with us. Player cramped up a little bit, able to come off under his own power. We're looking at a 3rd and 9 from the 44-yard line. 2-step drop, quick toss to the tight end with the catch. It is Parkhurst, but a good tackle to bring him down.
Charlie Squitieri making a great open field tackle on a much bigger man. Squitieri 5'11", 180. Parkhurst, we've talked about all day, 6'4", 243. And watch the form here by Squitieri. Getting the helmet on the outside, wrapping the legs. There's not a whole lot that Parkhurst can do with that. And for the second time today, you're going to have to turn it over. I said Squitieri the whole time. I'm sorry, I got my teams confused. Darrell Fincher with the stop.
Yeah, got to give his props out of Franklin. 1st team All-Public, 3rd team All-City.
Did a great job on that stop. Sorry for stealing your props, Darrell. Charlie, you got to give him back.
Punting situation here. The kick is away. Terry gets it off. This is a nice catch on the run, but post-haste is getting Smith going nowhere. Back inside the 10th, about the 5-yard line.
Wrapped up by Michael Lyons from Doherty, 6'1", 180 pounds. Lyons just got a hold on him. He has to have a great grip because he just held him in place. Let's take another look at this. Makes the catch going back. He tries to juke. Oh, a little face mask action there. And then gets him up around those shoulder pads and just hauls him to the ground.
So Lyons maybe got away with a face mask, but nonetheless, the tackle made just across the 5. We're going to call it the 6, where it is 1st and 10 at the 6-yard line. It's only 94 yards to go to pay dirt.
Well, fortunately, there's no blitzing in an all-star game, so you'd have to worry about the heat coming on just because you're on a short field.
Public League, though, scored on its last possession. They have the football here again. Great handoff this time. Bryant gets about a yard, and that is all.
Brandon Friday there to make a stop, and although there's no blitzing, it looked like the defensive line from the non-Cubs blitzed the backfield on that one because they were 3 yards up the field. That was a great job by Bryant just to get that close to the line of scrimmage.
They saw the Public League Stars run the option almost exclusively on their last possession. It's a little bit tougher to do when you're down close to your own end zone.
No, when you're running that option, that means you're 4 yards deep in your own, behind the line of scrimmage. That puts you almost on the goal line. That is a scary, scary line to walk back there.
The formation is tight.
Jim Sullivan kicked Patterson out of the way. Here comes the action right into your living room. He's going to step into the outside and try to put the juke on Solomon Patterson. Patterson from the prep having none of it. And he waits for the help to come along, and help arrives in the form of Brandon Friday. The 2 teammates from the prep taking care of that play.
He sets up the 3rd and 8 from about the 8. Porter may have to put it up here. Keon Walker comes in as a lead tight end. They're going to run straight forward. They're very close to a 1st down. Quarterman on the quarterback keep.
That is by far the most charitable spot I've seen today.
Absolutely, and he's going to get the 1st down. So Quarterman keeps it himself and runs for a 1st down.
That is a very, very, very nice gesture by the official to put the ball in that spot.
Spotted at the 15-yard line. 1st and 10. Jermaine Booker. Pass bomb, center, leads him up. There he is. Set to snap this ball to Quarterman. As the drive stays alive with 5:21 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Public Stars down here. They're going to run a little option. Quarterback keeps it himself, trying to get outside as Quarterman. He'll be very close to a 1st down, about a 9-yard gain as he was tracked down from behind by Tom Bowen.
Take a look at this one from behind the line of scrimmage. Quarterman decides to keep it right there as he sees all the flow going to the outside. Look at Ambrosi, hold it on. Give him a quarter for the ride at least.
Oh, yeah.
No one rides for free, homie.
Hey, another good spot. 1st and 10 as the football is spotted at the 26-yard line. So back-to-back runs by Quarterman, back-to-back first downs. He wants a player lined up on the right side, and finally they're going to get one over there. 14-9, though, the edge still in favor of the non-public stars in the first down departure. Quarterback heat, look out, not much there, going down in the heat. Now, 3 white jerseys all over him, take your pick. Initial contact may have come from Brandon Friday along with Bowen up front.
You know, as you get up in the higher levels of football, the option goes away as a danger because everybody is too fast. Now watch this, get a great job. Number 35 on the end, squares up. Now he has to cut it in, and the linebackers just collapse. You talk about Bowen just coming in there and shutting that play down. You know, Paul Bryant III recognizes, squares up. Now he's got to cut it inside, and the linebackers just collapse on it. That's why nobody runs the option in the pros, because everybody's just too fast.
2nd and 8 for the Public League Stars. Down the line again, deep toss. This time it goes to Curtis Brinkley, up and over, or rather Arnold Mullins. Mullins got airborne and pretty much got back to the line of scrimmage for no gain.
That was a lot of work for a 1 or 2 yard gain right there. As Mullins had Bo a little bit deeper than he wanted to, and then he had to jump over some bodies just to try and get back to the line of scrimmage.
So the play comes in from the bench for Quarterman. Now he has run for 2 first downs in this drive. And one was on a 3rd and 8 back at the 8-yard line. Right now we're looking at a 3rd and 8 for the 28. Do they try it again?
Frank Natale says, in Quarterman we trust.
We're going to find out. Quarterman shows pass, rolls out to the near side, being tracked down, throws across his body on the sideline, overthrew the intended receiver in Bernard Franklin, and it's incomplete. So it looks like a punting situation here on 4th and 8 at the 28-yard line for the Public League Stars.
The non-pub squad does a great job of getting some upfield motion on this one. Brandon Friday chasing hard, not fast enough to catch up with Quarterman, but then you see a D-back coming in there. That's Paul Bryant III. He cuts him off. And now look, you got to step out of bounds, you got to heave the ball down the field, but you're not running anywhere.
Brinkley and Jones await the punt from Rich McFillan. Villain back at about the 15-yard line. 2:54 to go in quarter number 3. Non-public Stars with a 19-6 lead. They're going to get the ball back here, and it's juggled loose on the ground, and once again falling on the football as Dan Jones, this time Brinkley, mishandled.
Well, Brinkley trying to make a little bit of a hot dog play right there.
Well, a chance maybe to flash back right now to 2002 when the non-public Stars came up victorious. In the first quarter, Public League led it by a score of 6-0. Ryan Gore, 2-yard run out of George Washington. The 2-point conversion was good. 14-0 in the first. In the second quarter, non-public Stars. Greg Henniger from Judge to Jim Lackman to make it 14-7. Didn't take long for the non-public Stars to score again from 16 yards out. Vince Gallagher to Pete Chromiak, 14-13. And then in the third quarter, Father Judge's Justin O'Brien, a 37-yard field goal for the winning points. 16-14, it stood up. And the non-public Stars won that one back in 2002.
And here on first down, the non-pub squad tries to run it. Don't get much, so we're going to go 2nd and 10.
So a 2nd and 10 coming up here after an no gain. Football spotted at the 35-yard line. Back to throw. On the way, looking for the center receiver. He could get a flag on this one? No. Curry's pass intended for teammate Carl Peterson and kind of got that tomahawk chop from behind by Sammons, but it's incomplete. Now, Rob, does he hit him before the ball gets there?
From the naked eye, I said yes, he reached over before the ball got there, but let's see what the replay says because the eye in the sky doesn't lie. Ball is up. You know, that's a good play by Sam. That's a good no call by the officials. He's on top of him, but he gets that ball first. As long as he gets to that ball first, you gotta give him his propers. It's good no call.
Okay.
It was edgy, but
It's an all-star call.
he got the ball.
3rd and 10. Here comes Dan Jones, and Jones raced out of bounds. No, actually stayed in the clock and continued to run, but he's well shy of a first down. So a good defensive stand right here for the Public League Stars. Look at the coverage by Fincher on the play to come up from the corner and shut it down.
Fincher grabs him from behind as he slips out of bounds. Now Dan Jones, look, there was an opening up front. I wonder what it is that he saw that says, I can't break this up front. I got to go to the outside. Obviously he saw some pressure. Probably Fincher come in and thought he could bounce outside and outrun him with a change of direction.
4th and 6 at the 40-yard line. Punting situation here with 1:18 to go. Back to kick the football away is Ambrosi. Good look at Greg Ambrosi from the prep. Here comes his punt. Goes out of bounds. They're going to mark it just across the 40. Oh, they're still here, right at the 40-yard line. So the Public League Stars will have the football down 19-6 with 57 seconds to go in quarter number 3.
They're catching a break on this one as they get some decent field position, but now their offense has to get churning again and find a way to make something of it. You want to make something of it? They want to make something of it.
All right. Let's see who's going to be a quarterback. I think it was, once again, Marcel Quarterman. Quarterman's done a pretty good job here in quarter number 3. He's going to stay out there and run the offense.
Quarterman we trust.
Run the option from this point in the field. We'll see if he continues. Oh, defense is approached. Think they're in the neutral zone. We're going to find out. It's going to be against the non-public Stars.
Encroachment.
Encroachment on the defense.
You know, when we looked at the halftime stats, I said the one area where the public league dominated, the non-public league was in the penalty phase of the game, and obviously the non-pubs weren't happy being dominated in any phase of the game, and they're clearly trying to catch up now here in the second half.
Well, Gil Brooks knows that you can't have too many mistakes. This non-public league team leads at 19-6. 1st and 5, and they're going to take the free shot, trying to air it out down the far sideline. Full extension, but incomplete as Mike Washington out of Frankfurt was the intended receiver, but the ball laid out a little too far ahead.
He had to step. You know, it's interesting to see guys, they talk about separation speed right there from Washington. You see separation speed as he goes hard down the sideline. There's Quarterman back now. He's just going to heave this thing up in the air. And look at look at him getting the separation, just turning up, going to that extra gear to try and get down the field and get to the ball.
2nd and 5 at the 45. I do the exact same thing. Try to catch him sleeping, air it out again. Washington set wide, but we're going to get a straight handoff here. The foul will move very close to the first down marker. Good run on the play by Jeremy Benson. See where they spot this one. Looks like he's going to be just inches shy of the first down.
Benson, the big guy, averaging 6.2 yards a carry this season, and there you saw him just moving the pile. All first team all public on the defensive side, but you know what? He had a heck of a season on offense as well.
Oh yeah, 9 touchdowns, nothing wrong with that. Benson in the backfield on 3rd and 1 at the 49. Quarterback is hit hard, he didn't get it. Marcel Quarterman tried for the first down himself, tried to slip off the side. Good effort up front by DeMalto, and the quarter comes to a close as the Public League Stars will look at a 4th and 2 when we come back. 19-6 our score, 4th quarter coming up. Sometimes you got to carry cables. You never know.
Hey, start him young, man.
Maybe he's got a future. Can I say hello? Sure, you just did, son.
Interesting, though, he didn't say, can I send a shout out? So obviously, they're teaching him something nice at home.
That's right. He's got manners. Hey, you never know who might show up. We have a 4th And a long one coming up here for the Public League Stars. Handoff, first down, and more for Dante Bryant, and the drive stays alive for the Public League Stars. No, that is Parson. Vondell Parson, I'll beg your pardon. But Parsons only had about 3 carries tonight. I think he has pretty good positive yards on all 3 carries.
Parson got the first down for the Public League squad. Almost got him the second first down, and here he goes again now in the fourth quarter, picking up a big first down for him here.
All the way to the 48. Gain of a big 4 for Parson. Vondell out of Simon Gratz. First and 10 at the 48-yard line for Marcel Quarterman and company. Give it to Parson again, hitting the backfield. 3 white shirts all over him and going down. And that time the first player to him is Kevin Calvert from Father Judge.
Calvert just does a great job of getting in the way and slowing things up here. Take a look at this again. Little belly action. There goes Calvert coming up the field. Squares him up, gets in the way, and then holds on to him so help can arrive. Frank Baldino from Newman getting a little piece of that.
Good numbers on Calvert, 6'4", 195 from Father Judge. Sets up a 2nd and 13, loss of 3 as the football goes back to the 49-yard line. 13:47 in the fourth quarter. Back to throw, Quarterman going down the center of the field. Has a man open, out of the hands of the intended receiver, incomplete. Trying to go deep to Mike Washington, and he could not hang on. He got down behind the coverage. At 6.
That is going to keep him up late tonight. Quarterman has all kinds of time here. His line does a great job. Look at him, steps up into this throw. And this is beautiful. He sails it, and that should be a catch on almost any level. And Quarterman showing his disappointment, his sheer disappointment in that one.
Stays 3rd and 13 at the 49-yard line as Quarterman comes to the sideline. He's out there with McFillin and also Dustin Hardy-Moore. So we have an injured player.
There's Coach Cook from Father Judge, who's also the trainer at Judge. Giving a look at him.
Well, with an injured player, we will take a timeout. 13:37 to play here in the fourth quarter. 19-6. Stay with us. Dave Levan out of Archbishop Rhine. So hopefully he can get back in the ball game. But here we're looking at a 3rd and 13 at the 49-yard line after Mike Washington dropped what would have been an easy first down at about the 10-yard line. 3 wides to the far side. You're looking that way underneath. Complete to Parson, who makes the catch. Jumping on the back for a ride is Greg Ambrosi. But not before it's a first down to Parson, who has really helped get this offense into another gear.
And it's using him out of the backfield now, getting up the field to catch and run. Ambrosi's got to do something to stop him from getting this first down. When you got a guy running for the marker like that, you can't just hop on for the ride. You got to try to do something to impede that forward progress.
Quarterman delivering the football on time. Has another first down. Trying to get his team back. Has plenty of time left. 13-11 and the clock moving here in the fourth quarter. Down by 2 scores. Single setback, 3 wides to the near side. Man in motion. Quarterman, 2-step drop. Looking to the right. Throws the long ball. Almost an over-the-shoulder catch. It's incomplete. Ariel Simmons out of Dobbins on his way to Kutztown. The intended receiver could not bring that one in. Pretty good ball, though, thrown by Quarterman.
Real nice ball thrown to the outside shoulder. Only one person's going to get that, and that is your receiver. Now, Billy Canada's there. Billy's doing the best he can in coverage. But you know what? The ball's just thrown in a perfect location. Look at that little fade to the outside. Ariel's got to come up with that one. Ariel averaged 26.6 yards per catch during the season. And this one, it's a difficult catch, but a guy who's moving on to the next level should be able to make that one 9 out of 10 times. He just happened to catch up with the 10th time there.
Archie Fisher up at Lafayette, he makes that grab. And Quarterman's got another touchdown. That's what they're hoping for up in College Hill in Eastern Pennsylvania next year. 12:53 and the clock is stopped after the incompleted pass. Quarterman goes back to throw, throws back across the grain, has his man, and Mullins complete, only about a yard over the first down marker, so it's going to set up about a 3rd and 9.
Well, Mullins attracted a lot of attention over there on that side. They're setting up the screen for Mullins on the outside. There's far too many people paying attention to Mullins for the screen to be successful. Let's take another look. He's looking him off to the right. There's Mullins. He just sort of nonchalants his way to the outside. By the time he catches it, he's got to go over the top shoulder and spins around. And there the defense is to put him down to the ground. Lenny DeMalto from Roman, the salutatorian at Roman Catholic.
3rd down conversions, Public just 3 of 11 trying to connect here. The ball's underthrown and incomplete. Mullins, the intended receiver. But that's really the first bad pass, if you want to call it that, the Quarterman's had none of the second half. He's been on target most of the time.
No, he has had the machine rolling a little bit. Just now, the bad luck that has come their way has not been his fault. He's had a couple passes dropped. He's thrown 1 or 2 a little bit too long, but, you know, nothing egregious.
So it sets up a 4th and 9. Football spotted at the 35-yard line. They're going to go for the first down here. Quarterman with 3 wides to the near side. We haven't called the name of Joe Van Pratt tonight. He's a big-time receiver. He's the widest on the right. They're looking down the middle, looking for Washington. Goes up, it's Tim. Did he bring it back in? Yes, touchdown! Well, that'll make up for the one he dropped near the 10. Washington goes up strong, tips the ball to himself in coverage, throws it in, and we're just 1 score away from having a tie ball game.
Public League is going for 1 all. The coach has got 1 finger in the air. The circus is in town, Nick Monninghawk. You didn't know that, but it's here at Northeast High. A circus catch from Mike Washington. We'll take a look at that one after the point after, but oh my goodness. Focus, concentration.
Hurry, 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 step right up.
The craziest, coolest show in town. Mike Washington is the star. Give a big stage wave.
Extra point team is out there now. Rich McFillin looking for the conversion. The placement down, the kick on the way. And this one is good. 11 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the ball game. It's now 19-13 in favor of the non-public Stars. What a catch.
Take a look at this. Here goes Washington on the inside, running the post route. And oh my goodness, tips that ball up. You know, great job in coverage there. Tom Fontaine tries to break that one up, but the taller receiver just tips the ball to himself. Great focus, great concentration, great body control. You know, not worried about how he's going to hit the ground, but worried about making sure his hands get underneath that football. That is just awesome. If he wasn't already going to Westchester, I'd tell him to send that one around. That'll get you a scholarship right there.
Absolutely. What a way to close out the 12-play, 60-yard drive to get your team back in the ball game. It's celebration time for Mike Washington. 4 minutes and 30 seconds as Washington has the 35-yard touchdown reception. Dan Jones and Curtis Brinkley are deep. Awaiting this kick from Rich McFillin. McFillin kicks a break. This will be Jones at about the 8-yard line. Jones straight forward, crosses the 25 to the 26-yard line, and that's where it'll be 1st and 10. 2 second-half scores for the Public League All-Stars, and they are back, trailing 19-13 with 11:22 to play.
Marcel Quarterman getting props from his teammates, well deserved. He has been the catalyst for this Public League squad here in the second half.
Yeah, he's played well. Run the option, thrown the deep ball when he's had to, had a couple drops. He's brought his team back nicely. And we're going to get a timeout taken by the Public League defense, and you know what? That's not bad. You just scored a touchdown. If you're not sure what defensive package is supposed to be in, and it's an all-star game, guys coming and going, everybody gets playing time, at least 15 plays. If you're not sure, call the timeout. You're only down by a touchdown.
Yeah, don't take a flag. Don't help give the non-pubs better field position. Don't give them any momentum. just take your time with it. Non-pubs have to find a way. Told you they were all out back trying to get air during the second half. Well, they need some oxygen here. They need to be revived a little bit here in the second half. They came out in the second half on their heels and have not found a way to be able to rock forward on their toes and lean on somebody yet.
That was 19-0 at halftime. The non-public Stars went 3 and out on their last 2 possessions.
Don't never count us out.
Well, nobody's counting Navarre Archie from Bach and company out right now. Second half yards, 138-5, complete turnaround. Here's a toss down low. It'll go for just a few yards on the completion to Dominic Rock. Good look at the play here.
Sloanell rolling out to his left, his natural way. But a good job of staying squared up by Darryl Fincher, not overrunning the play and stopping it for just a 3-yard gain.
Sets up a 2nd down and 6. At the 31. Man in motion. Defense is off. That's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the defense. A little too quick on the trigger for Otis Young. Defensive end was trying to get a little one-upsmanship. See if we can get the call here. Tom McClain lost his microphone.
On the defense, 2nd down.
Still got to be 2nd down. And now it is.
Non-pubs do a great job for most of the day getting their own offense. You don't have to hand them 5 yards.
2nd and 1 at the 35-yard line. They take a deep shot here. No, they run the football straight forward. Curtis Brinkley on the carry. Brinkley's had a pretty good game with 2 touchdown runs tonight in the first half. But the offense just hasn't been there as we have 10:30 to go in the second half.
I have not called his name a whole lot here in the second half. Here's a snap from center. Sloanell going to pivot. That's pretty clean right there. That's good blocking by the offensive line. He doesn't get touched until he's inside the backer territory.
41-yard line where it's 1st and 10. Carl Peterson goes in motion to the far side. Handoff, gets outside here and turning the corner is Rock. And Rock has a big first down all the way to the 30-yard line. Just what the offense needed today. A little shot in the arm. Dominic Rock delivers.
Wow. That hurt me. Dominic Rock with a nice little scamper. Plays designed to go off tackle. You see that nice line, wall of blockers going to the right side. He just slides along it and then turns on the speed on the outside for a very, very healthy pickup. Man, oh man.
All the way down to the 28-yard line for Rock. A little slow to get up.
It's been a hot day out here, especially in those pads. Probably a little cramping going on with some of these guys. It's hard to retain fluids on a day like this.
1st and 10, 28. Man in motion to the near side. They're going to run to the left. Spinning off one hit. Curtis Brinkley gets some positive yards as he crosses the 25 to the 24-yard line.
So we've seen Curtis Brinkley run over people. We've seen him run around people. Now we see him spinning on people, jumping over the top of people. He's just putting on an all-around show today. Putting all of his skills on display.
Bill Brooks keeping the drive alive, communicating with the quarterback as the play comes in. We'll see what they run here with 9:05 and the clock moving. Second and 6 with the football at the 24-yard line for Andre Sloanell, who has his backs on the I-10. And the 2 wides to the far side. Now Sims. Wacker in motion. Play action fake. Looking down the middle to the outside, the tight end, in out of the hands of Parkhurst, incomplete. Matt Parkhurst could not hold on.
And he can't believe it more than anyone that he let that ball go down to the ground. Looked like he had his hands up there in a good position to catch it. We'll take another look at it. As you saw Gil Brooks there, just calmly call the next play, move on. That is a strike right there. That is a strike.
Sets up a 3rd and 6, still at the 28. Gil Brooks coaching in his 4th City All-Star football game.
Keeps winning titles at St. Joe's Prep. He'll keep coming back at the top.
Asked him about a four-peat. He says, yeah, I'd love to. Back to throw. Sloanell setting up the screen. Throws to Brinkley. Has a man on him. Got away from Young, but not the second tackler, and he goes down. So Brinkley tracked down from behind by Marcus Banks. And he does not have a first down.
And as you described it, Mickey did a really good job of escaping from Otis Young. Watch this. They look it off to the right now. He steps back. He's going to take it, and he knows Young is right there. Now he steps a little bit deeper than he wants to, and there's just no way to get away from that second tackler. Just no way. Didn't even see it coming.
Loss of 1, 4th and 7, back at about the 26-yard line. So a big fourth down play here. Fourth down conversions, non-public 0 for 1. Looking for their first of night to keep it alive. Here's the toss to the tight end, complete, first down and more. Parkhurst puts his head down and upended inside the 5-yard line. It'll be first and goal for the non-public Stars.
Inconceivable that somebody was not holding on to his back and riding along. 4th and 7, you know who the target is going to be. You know Parkhurst has been the man all day. Just incredible. Here comes the play from a different angle. Parkhurst, this time using the hands, making a nice catch, and then tucking it and bowling people over.
First and goal, 3-yard line for the non-public Stars. Backs in the I tandem. Handoff here to Brinkley to the end zone, and he is in for the touchdown. Third time tonight that Curtis Brinkley gets into the end zone, and the non-public Stars have answered the comeback efforts of their public league counterparts. Now 25-13 with a point pending and 7:16.
Numbers. You know, you look at tomorrow, you say, oh, Curtis Brinkley is the MVP. I the Parkhurst just as easily as I could to Brinkley.
I could even for bringing his team back.
Take a look at this one from down the line once again. Just a little bit of a delay there, and he just tiptoes right through the line. Now we'll take a look at the 2-point conversion, Mick, and this one, just leave it in the hands of Sloanell. He's going to follow his big blockers around, and once again, not really a problem. He's unscathed as he waltzes into the end zone.
So the offense answers with an 8-play, 72-yard drive in 4:06. Brinkley is third touchdown of the night. This one from 3 yards. His other touchdowns from 1 and 5 yards out. You throw in that touchdown play by Parkhurst to start the game, and there's your 27 points right there.
It's by far and away the highest scoring All-Star game in quite some time in the series.
Non-public scored 20 last year in a 20-3 effort and won a victory tonight. They could win their third in a row in this series. On the kick, short hop picked up by Danny Smith. Smith all the way to the 30-yard line, up to the 32, and that's all. So the public league will have the ball, 1st and 10. They're going to mark it at the 33-yard line. 7:09 to go. And the public league Stars still have a lot of making up to do. And Quarterman stays in the game.
Oh, he's their man. I mean, you know, they were switching him off earlier in the game, and you know, Rich McFillin, he's doing the kicking, so at least he's still playing, he's still participating in the game, but Quarterman has been the guy. He's done so much right for them that if they're going to get back, they're going to get the 2 scores they need him in the game.
Back to throw. They're going to go deep to the far sideline, and it is incomplete. Coverage on the play of that time by Billy Kennedy. They call him Hollywood. He comes up limping a little bit on this one.
And Jovan Pratt, the wide receiver from Massbaum, had to turn into a defensive back there, and as Kennedy was probably better suited, a better position to catch that ball than was Pratt.
That looks like the Tennessee logo there.
It does.
It's not a high school logo.
Well, it's a little homage to Wycheck.
I would think.
You know, an alum of the game, although he is a Catholic League alum.
But why not? 2nd and long. Here's a nice catch. Jovan Pratt upended, but not before he has the first down at the 40-yard line.
Pratt doing a real nice job of just sort of sitting down in the middle of the coverage. Whenever you see that zone, you got to find the soft spot. And that's what Jovan Pratt's going to do. See Quarterman just looking, and there he is in between the defensive players.
Well, Pratt doing a nice job of keeping his eye on the ball and not coughing it up on the blindside stick.
And Quarterman whipped that ball to him, too. I mean, that wasn't even an easy catch.
Quarterman back to throw on first down. He's going deep down the center field, but a little too far ahead, and no chance for a double tip this time by Mike Washington. Same kind of route they ran for his touchdown catch, but that one's just a little bit too far ahead.
Little overthrown, and sort of seemed like Washington got a little bit out of stride. It looked like when he tried to reach down for that extra gear to get out to that ball, just sort of misstepped and got him even further away from it.
You know what, though? I do like the play calling by the the public stars tonight. When you have a chance, sometimes throw on first down or down a distance in your favor, you can take the long ball shot. They've taken it. They haven't always gotten it, but you know what? That shows you're thinking.
Well, Doug McCauley put a lot of thought into this one before he turned it over to his coordinators.
That's big-time play calling, going for big-time plays. Here comes the rush. Quarterman flushed out, throws on the run, and overthrew the coverage.
Always dangerous to throw it across your body the way that Quarterman did just there. He was rolling out to his left. Right-handed quarterback had to sort of do a jump stop, plant, and throw. Right off the snap of the ball, he's going to get some pressure coming off the side there. Alex Garcia from Roman gets up the field real quick and flushes him out. But he rolls to his left to get away from that, and you see it sort of jump stop and threw that ball behind him.
And it was nowhere near Ariel Simmons.
Fortunately, it was nowhere near anybody in a white shirt either.
3rd and 10 coming up for the Public Stars, down 27-13. And the non-Public Stars have called timeout. 6 minutes and 23 seconds to go. You expect another deep ball coming up. We'll take a look at some college-bound players. You'll see the Quarterman's on his way to Lafayette. Otis Young going to New Hampshire. Michael Roberts to Temple. Dennis Hill, North Carolina Central. And then Delaware State gets Aaron Hayes. Kutztown gets Ariel Simmons. Westchester getting 3 in a row with Mullins, Williams, and Washington. And Danny Smith on his way to Millersville. And the non-publics, they're going to some pretty big-time schools as well.
Yeah, Sloan L going out to Minnesota. Brian Tracy going to Indiana. Boys like it cold. Brinkley going to Syracuse. Obviously, nobody's heard that it gets warmer as you go south.
That's a dome, though. It doesn't count.
It's still Syracuse. It still starts snowing in late October, early November.
Penn and Lehigh getting some players as well. DeMalto going to Penn with Ambrosi. Lehigh gets O'Brien, and Guthrie going to UMass. Wants to run his own restaurant when he gets out of college.
I wanted to get him and see if he can cook, but I didn't get a chance to ask him. I'll tell you what, I saw him out there warming up. I know he can eat.
There you go. 6:23 to go. 3rd and 10. Pump fake, going deep. Quarterman airs it out. Looking for Brinkley. He made the catch. And they're going to say he's out of bounds, or they're going to give it to him.
They gave it to him.
Great over-the-shoulder grab by... Well, that's Mullins.
That's Mullins.
Right. Not Brinkley. That's Mullins making that catch. This is a nice catch over the shoulder.
It's a great catch over the shoulder. I mean, the defense was right there. This is just great concentration by Mullins. Let's watch this spiral land softly in his arms.
Yeah, he's got a foot in.
Ambrosi's all over him, but he's not worried about Ambrosi. He's worried about the ball and his feet. You see him look down to try and get that foot down.
He got it.
That was no accident.
Great catch. Football spotted at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10. Breaking, contain, and getting outside is Quarterman. No. Finally tracked down from behind by Tom Bowen out of Roman.
It's interesting when you track him down like that. Bowen wants to be a U.S. Marshal when he's done with college. He's going to be a CJ major. And you can see him right there going, we got a fugitive.
He's on the run, and
I'm going to get him. Look at this. He's going to track him down right here. Tommy Lee Jones would be very proud of that effort right there.
Put the collar on him.
Sir, would you like to stop running now?
Yep. But I'm innocent. I don't care.
Tell you what, 6'1", 225 pounds. He will be an imposing marshal.
That's right. 2nd and 15 after the loss. Back to throw, Quarterman. Let's this one go, and it was behind the intended receiver, Jovan Pratt. Pratt had to come back for it, could not get the football.
No, it's difficult. You know, you see people making the adjustment on the ground all the time, coming back and sliding for the ball, but it's really tough to do. That time, Jovan just couldn't get the body work together, the ballet together to bring the ball in on the ground.
Football still at the 25-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and 15. Does Quarterman have another big play in the hip pocket? We're going to find out.
Tell you what, you don't throw 1,700 yards and 23 touchdowns in your career and not have a couple big plays somewhere. That's right.
Coaching staff looks on. Quarterman has a single setback and trips to the right. 3-step drop, loads up, pump fake. The ball got knocked out of his hands. I think they're going to call it incomplete.
He's going to say his arm was moving forward when he got hit, and I think the officials are going to agree with him.
That's the way I had it. Did not look like a fumble to me. And they're going to say incomplete pass.
And I'll tell you what, if somebody asks him about this after the game, he's going to say it all went black in a hurry. Because all of a sudden, boom, Brandon Friday just jumped up into his chest. Friday was coming low and all of a sudden just launched himself right at his chin.
They're going to start the clock. The ball is set. It sets up a 4th and 15 after the incomplete pass at the 25-yard line with 5 minutes remaining. Got to get in the end zone here, Rob. This could be the final hurrah.
3rd and forever.
Quarterman in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Here comes the rush. Loads up to the near sideline. Comes down with it. Here's Pratt. Makes the catch at the 5-yard line. It's 1st and goal. Right out of the hip pocket again, huh?
Got to keep a couple in the bag just in case. You never know when an emergency is going to come up. There's Tom Fontaine right there in your corner. He's going to be the man on the hot spot. There's Jovan Pratt. He's starting to make his break coming out to you. The ball's flying into your living room right now. And what does Pratt do? He out-jumps Tom Fontaine for it. Look at him. He gives him the shove at the end there. Get off of me.
That's a big-time throw and a big-time catch.
The concentration, the competition.
And he almost lost it.
Yes, he did. Sorry, though, he'd already taken a step, so it is a catch.
Jovan Pratt brings it in, 1st and goal, 5-yard line. Quarterback keep to the 3, and Quarterman brought down near the 2-yard line. So that sets up a 2nd and goal.
The Quarterman's still running all the way over to the sidelines and getting the plays directly from Frank Natale. And I'll tell you what, you know, that's eating up 25 seconds. That is not what you want to do in this situation. All the time you're running over to the side and running back, the clock is not your friend right now.
No, it's not.
It's your friend, but it's not his friend.
You say so. 2nd and goal at the 3-yard line with 3 wide to the near side. Rolling Quarterman trying to throw to the end zone. Going to throw this away. That's not a bad decision. Not a bad decision at all. Stop the clock. You don't turn it over.
Now you had a 1st down. You know, be kind, rewind, just reset it. You know, we'll go to 3rd down now, and you know, we can walk over the sidelines, get his play. They can talk it over. It's not costing them anything.
That's right. 3:33 to play. Pratt's going to come out of the ball game. Once again, 27-13, the non-public Stars. Comfortable lead, but the public counterparts trying to punch one in here. Dustin Hardy-Moore checked into the ball game along with the big tight end, Payon Walton. The center, Jermaine Booker, brings him up. 7 for 18, 134 yards and a touchdown for Quarterman. 3 set to the right. Break out that way. Man open to the end zone. Caught.
Picked off.
They're going to call an interception.
It was picked off.
I thought it was
picked off.
Kennedy comes up with the interception. I think he took it right out of the receiver's hand.
18 career receptions, and none bigger than that right there. He's going to take that one off to the Petty School with him and enjoy a great smile. Look at this play again. Quarterman going to fire it. Washington there, but Kennedy comes in from behind and just outfights him for the ball.
Looks
You know,
like Washington has it clear. Look, he had it.
He had his hands on it, but it was me versus you, and Kennedy wanted it more than Washington did.
Wow. Well, we saw one catch like that tonight by Carl Peterson as he took one away from the defender, and this time the defender with a one-upsmanship.
That is huge. That was a backbreaker.
It was. Looked like Washington was going to bring that in. Here's a deep toss. They're going deep for Peterson. Behind the coverage. They went deep on the first play. It's going to go for a touchdown. Talk about airing it out. That will seal the deal. Carl Peterson hooks up with his teammate, Dale Curry, who just lets it fly on a lane to the field for the touchdown. Bill Brooks playing to the final moment.
You know what? The final score probably to him was a little bit too close for comfort. He didn't like the fact that there was still a game in theory. Just needed to spread that out a little bit. Wow. Turn and fire.
Absolutely.
80 yards just like that.
So Peterson with a touchdown reception. Curry, his teammate. 33-13 with a point pending. And here is Squitieri for the extra point. Placement down, kick on the way. Somebody got a hand on it. It is no good. The kick was partially blocked, and the score remains 33-13 with 3 minutes and 11 seconds to play. Well, sometimes you go deep right after the big play, and it's exactly what the offense did.
Curry not wasting a single moment, goes right down the field, and somehow, some way, Carl Peterson is a little bit lonely back there. Gerald Dove putting in a yeoman effort to try and catch up to him, but it was too late. The horse was out of the barn, and there was no way to stop him before he crossed the line.
It's like Smarty Jones running away from the field.
Gone.
3:11 to play.
The longest 3 minutes and 11 seconds in the public league players' lives to this point.
I'll tell you what, though. All things being equal, the public leaguers made a game of it. They were down 19-0 at halftime. Got to the point where they were only down by 6.
They were kicking the door in. I mean, they were as bad as they were in the first half, not as bad, but as flat as they were in the first half. They were that strong and put that much of an effort forth in the second half. And just in the end, you know, the Catholic League players had one more trick up their sleeve than they did.
Dustin Hardy Moore is back with Danny Smith waiting to kick. Squitieri's boot will drive Dustin Hardy Moore back to the 2-yard line. Dustin Hardy Moore gets to the 18-17 end line. First and 10, call it 17-yard line for the Public League Stars. As the non-public Stars lead it comfortably, 33-13 with about 3 minutes to play.
And Washington's Rich McFillin going to come in and play quarterback on this series here.
33 points in the All-Star game. That's pretty good offensive output for the non-public Stars. Non-public Stars had scored 34 points back in 1991. I think that's the last time that they've, they had 36 in 89. Here's a quick toss down the middle. And a completed pass. Washington trying to outrace the field. Tit for tat. Long touchdown. Passes a bound. We're not done yet. Mike Washington takes it the distance for the touchdown.
I realized that we were singing the anthem again. Bombs bursting in air all over us.
Absolutely. So Rich McFillin lights it up as Mike Washington takes that one. 83 yards to pay dirt. That was a nice play. We're not quite done yet. 83-yard touchdown play. And Washington will be his second touchdown catch of the night.
Washington is amazing in his ability to bounce back. And before each of his touchdowns, he had a play that did not go in his favor.
That's right.
He had the ball taken away from him in the end zone just 2 plays before. Now he goes the length of the field.
First team All-City, first team All-Public. Last season had 19 receptions for 507 yards and 6 touchdowns. He has 2 in this All-Star game tonight. He's on his way to Westchester next year.
And he runs like a wide receiver. They technically have him listed as a tight end.
He's got speed and breakaway speed at that.
Could be some lucrative work in his future.
I think so.
Keep that up.
He's got the size and the speed to go with it. Back to the quarterback. Quarterback to quarterback for a 2-point conversion. Quarterman to McMillan for 2. Makes it 33-21. And you know what? They can get the football back because they're down by more than 9.
Down by more than 9, so they can take the football back. Here goes the touchdown play. Just a little slant, just a deep slant, deep crossing pattern.
Now there's 2:48 to go. As you get another look at the touchdown play here. Just straight down the middle with nobody on him, and he will outrace 2 defenders. So Mike Washington shows he's got the speed. As Solomon Patterson was nowhere near him. And take a look at a little razzle-dazzle here. Quarterback to quarterback to quarterback.
The pitch to Quarterman, who's in there at the halfback spot, and then he just stops and dumps it down to McMillan. The nifty little catch gets his feet up off the ground. And how about this? I want to talk about honor and pride. The public league's going to play this straight. They are not going to take advantage of the fact that they can get the ball back, and they're going to kick it away.
2:48 to go. And I agree with you, Rob. And it shows a little honor here, but you could use the rules. They're going for the onside kick, playing it straight. There's the hop, and it is picked up by the Public Stars coming down with the football. Ricardo Rivera out of Washington. Gil Brooks complaining, but you know what? I don't think he's going to win that argument.
If he wants to holler at anybody, when we take another look at this, you'll see an actual live brain cramp happening. Watch it right there. He should have picked that ball up right there. Number 23, Tim Wacker, should have gotten on that ball right then and there, even though it was beyond the in front of the 10 yards. It's only 8 yards deep. He should have got on that ball.
Now we're seeing why McMillan is an all-league kicker. He got the big bounce he wanted. Also, another non-pub had a chance to come up with it, but Ricardo Rivera out of Washington has the football. 1st and 10 for the Public Leaguers. 2:42 to go.
You know, it's amazing. A lot of people got up out of their seats and started to walk towards the parking lot after the non-pubs, what we thought was the backbreaker. They're all standing down the end here. It's just more crowded down the end by the parking lot because they haven't left yet.
No reason to leave in a game like this. It looks like a penalty after the play as well. Personal foul for Ryan. Stepped off against the non-public leaguers.
And suddenly it is a very short field. They're going to have the ball 1st and 10 on the 34-yard line.
So 34-yard line when they put it down, 1st and 10 for the Public Leaguers. After Mike Washington's 2nd touchdown catch of the night. See if they go that way again. 3 wides, McMillan, under a heavy rush, dumps it off. Friday wanted to put the pressure on and thought he was going to get a grounding call, but none there.
I'll tell you what, McMillan gave probably the biggest strong arm of his life there in trying to hold Brandon Friday off. And he watched the pressure come up there, and he puts the paw out there to hold Friday off so he can dump it out of there instead of taking the sack.
Ball was batted down, incomplete. Sets up 2nd and 10, 34-yard line. 2:35 to play, and there will be an official timeout at the 2-minute mark. So that's in the favor of the Public League Stars as well. 33-21. 2 minutes, 35 seconds to go. McMillan steps up in the pocket, guns it down the middle of the field. Intercepted.
And Rosie
with a full head of steam. He's going to try to take it back to the house. pass would go there to beat. And Brozier knocked out of bounds. Inside the 30-yard line at about the 24. And Greg Ambrosia comes up with what could be his last pick in his high school career.
Ambrosia had 2 shots at a kickoff earlier and muffed both attempts earlier, but redeems himself this time when it counts, shutting the door on the public league squad. Here McFillan's going to step up and fling this thing over the middle. He overthrows the ball, and then Ambrosia just caught it, and he was gone. You look, he's got his Armada out in front of him, and he is flying. It was not for Clarence Henley from Franklin. He'd have taken that ball to the house. One more look at it. Ball got to his face mask, but he got his hands up in front just in the nick of time. And he is now officially flying. And now, wait a minute.
And he had a penalty on his play, holding on defense.
White ball still, so it was after the possession. After the change of possession. Holding on the run back.
Ambrosia had 12 interceptions last season. 2 went for touchdowns. He almost had 1 there. But with a penalty, this will come back. And they will step things off. Players on the field looking up in the stands. And it looks like a little breakage has erupted in the stands. That's what's caused the delay. Drawing the attention of everyone on the field.
You can see some of the people from the stands that spilled out on the
Hey, Rick!
We'll take a timeout as they try to restore order here at Charlie Martin Stadium. 2 minutes and 21 seconds ago, still 33-21 with the non-public Stars out front. Charles Martin Stadium after the fracas erupted in the stands. Powers that be decided better of it, and they have decided to end this game right where we stand at 33-21. And offensive players of the game, Andre Sloanell and also Marcel Quarterman, the quarterbacks in this tilt. Solomon Patterson and Otis Young, the defensive MVPs, Rob. Chance to take a look at some second half highlights. And I'll tell you what, 33-21, your final score tonight. Big time effort by the non-public Stars to come up with 33 points in this one.
Well, that was the first of them, the touchdown to Parkhurst from Sloanell. Now you'll see one of the many touchdowns on the day from Curtis Brinkley. He had 3 in the contest altogether.
Brinkley with 3 touchdowns tonight as the non-public Stars win this one. Their 3rd consecutive win in the All-Star game, 33-21 over the public All-Stars. So long, everyone.